Some of the content of Patriots Unfiltered may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
The world's original podcast.
Welcome to Patriots Unfiltered.
Oh, it's the Tuesday after the Sunday that wasn't. Deuce is speechless.
I was going to say,
speechless.
No, I don't know which way to go.
Hi, Evan.
Hello.
How you doing?
Okay.
Yeah, just okay?
Been better.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into any offensive comparisons.
Well,
the Patriots had about 260 yards in the fourth quarter. Noxzema doesn't even want that makeup.
Diana Rossini is saying that Max Crosby wants to play for Vrabel already.
No.
She said that on Radio Row last week.
Brady wouldn't let the Patriots get him. The light banter of Evan Lazar and Alex Barth. Alex came back with a little hop in his step, so I don't know what happened down there, but
On Monday morning, I wake up to a text from Alex. It's just like,
Who is this woman that's knocking on my door?
no.
it was like,
Why did I get a bill?
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
Presented by Toyota's official website for deals, buyatoyota.com.
All right, welcome to Patriots Unfiltered. It is Thursday here at Gillette Stadium, and I can tell you we are officially into the offseason.
Don't tell Evan.
All the post-mortem press conferences are done. Most of the players are gone. There's some coaches and scouts still here, obviously, because we're only really days away from the combine. But I think Mike Vrabel went on a little vacay today, so it is over. It is over. 2025, the book has been written. We are on to 2026.
that's my favorite is like when the head coach like goes on a vacation and I'm like, why are we still here? Like, if he's not here, then like, what,
Well,
what
you
am I
can
doing
always
here?
put in for time.
I know. I'm just saying,
No.
like during the bye week, he went on a little quick vacay too, and I was like, I'm watching. Like, why am I watching tape when the
Yeah.
head coach is not?
It's a lot easier when you have his means. You can
Yes.
just get away
Yeah,
quicker. You know, for
absolutely.
us, it's planes, trains, and automobiles.
And he's
to
got
do
a staff of people working on
Right.
a lot of the things that we're trying to get up to speed on.
Yep. So, what are we getting up to speed on, or
Well,
do we?
I don't know if I can
Mike
bring
is
it up.
cracking
Evan
the
and
whip.
Paul, I know Evan and Paul might yell at me because
Golly.
I'm, starting to plan out our draft shows and all that kind of stuff.
We
so, not
landed
the
at
draft
10
stuff.
p.m. on Monday. Tuesday morning, I walk into the office and Deuce is already, we got what's your draft breakdown? This, that, the other thing. I was like, Mike, we just got back from the Super Bowl yesterday. Can we
No,
give me a?
turn the page. This is how I deal with it. I
That's
just
what
focus
did.
on
That's
what's next.
exactly what I said to Paul. I was like, I think this is how he's coping.
Coping
Is
mechanism.
that we're
Right,
just
right. Now, there's a certain delight I take. You guys make fun of me for the spreadsheet that I keep on my computer each year. Has a tab, and I had the depth chart and the moves
I do not
and all
make
that.
fun of that.
Well, not make
I
fun.
am a little in
Oh,
awe
fun.
of it.
There's
There's a difference.
But there's a certain and I think honest to God, I got back from the Super Bowl party that night, and I was literally got on my computer at midnight and was like, and we're moving to 2020, and then filling stuff in. So no, I don't know. It is my way of coping with it, I think. So, but it was a great year. I think that's the more I look back on it and think, my God, they won 10-game win streak. They won the AFC East. It was just such a cool season, and I don't know. The bad taste of the Super Bowl is kind of quickly dissipating. I'm not really
Yeah,
focusing on that.
and we
I
got,
would agree with that.
We got beat by the better team.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't get it pulled away from us. So, people I've talked to, they said, "Yeah, I'm not really that upset.
No.
It
I'm not
makes
that
it
upset."
easier to reconcile.
Yeah.
There
I'm
wasn't
on an
that
island
that
on this.
play. No, you could be disappointed and upset and all that stuff. That's I don't ever tell anybody how they should feel, but there wasn't that one play. There wasn't the one decision or referee's call or anything like that.
Yeah, you didn't have a lead and you blew
Right.
it.
Yeah,
Or-
what
in the
could have
end.
been.
I understand all that. I don't know.
Evan, you just,
No,
you're
but it was
competitive.
your first one here as an
I
employee.
get it. I'm not.
I-
you
and,
should.
you know,
I
you
can
shouldn't be
understand.
upset. You should be disappointed.
wanna win.
That's how you feel.
I'm trying to figure out the best way to say it. I'm not upset that they lost
just
per
disappointed?
se. All the points you guys are making are all valid and true. I'm upset about the effort that they put in because I feel like they could have played so much better.
Yeah.
And there was things that they could have done, especially offensively, that would have been so much better than what they ended up doing in the game. And I respect the heck out of Josh McDaniels so much. And I'm just I want to ask him, truthfully, what happened?
What happened?
Yeah.
Because I just have been thinking for the last couple of days, why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? Why weren't they prepared for
what
the
was
blitzes?
going on in your mind in the moment?
Right.
Yeah.
What were you thinking?
Because it was like they never even got off the bus. And that's the piece of it that stings, not necessarily that they lost the game. Like the way the game unfolded obviously didn't sting. Like it was inevitable.
I totally understand.
But I just felt like they didn't even put their best foot forward. Like they didn't play anywhere close to their best game.
Yeah.
I thought you said your piece on Tuesday, and then JT O'Sullivan dropped like an hour 20 of breaking the whole thing down and saying the same thing that Evan's saying. That whole thing, throw by throw, missed blitz pickup by missed blitz pickup. Everything that Evan said, he
They just
kind of
didn't
echoed,
look prepared on offense, which is just so bizarre for Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels, who both won Coaches of the Year days earlier before the Super Bowl, to have the team look lost and unaware of certain things that Seattle was doing was just, that's the part that's disappointing, is the preparation piece.
I mean, is it possible that they were talent-wise just that much better? And in Josh McDaniels' mind, it's like changing things up isn't going to make much of a difference. I got to stick to the plan because that's how we prepared. And if we're going to have any chance, this is it. Yeah. I don't know.
So I heard an interesting take from Jason McCourty on one of the
I was about to bring
ESPN
that up.
shows.
I thought this was the best take that I've heard on this
then
so
go
far.
ahead.
No,
Finish it up.
You can finish it up too.
Well,
I just was. Yeah.
Just that he was saying, in the past, Josh has shown the ability to adapt and adjust on the fly as well as anybody. And he gave countless examples of what he, when Jason was here, what he would do. And Jason felt that maybe Josh didn't feel like the experience level of the guys that he's dealing with. You got 2 rookies on the offensive line. You got a second-year quarterback. Even your number 1 wide receiver is new to the system. They don't have that sort of reservoir of knowledge to fall back on. It wasn't one of those situations where you could go to Tom Brady and say, remember what we did against Cleveland back in 2012, and that worked against this?
Yeah.
And maybe that was why he was a little bit less anxious. I personally, I would have liked to have seen him just throw more stuff at the wall. That's kind of the phrase that Felger used yesterday, and I agree with it. Like, at this point, we're drowning. So, what hurt would it have done if you tried more of the 6th offensive lineman that worked on the one play that everybody's been talking about? Or maybe a hurry up in the middle of the third quarter, something different. Maybe they didn't feel like that those things would work, but at that point, nothing that you were doing was working, and there was no light at the end of the tunnel when you're punting 8 times in a row.
Right. And I know it sounds like a little counterintuitive because he did have an injury, but if Drake May's shoulder was bothering him, then maybe start calling some design quarterback runs and, using his legs as a factor in the run game. Maybe go empty, and allow, they didn't play a single snap in this game out of an empty formation the entire game, which when teams are blitzing you, you spread the field and so then you can see things coming and kind of dissect the defense that way. Things like that are the things that, on Thursday I'm still throwing around in my head. Like, why didn't we do more of these different things? But, only McDaniels could answer that. But I thought Jason McCourty's answer made a lot of sense. And now that we are turning the page to the offseason and starting to look ahead, they only have 6 unrestricted free agents. So it's not like they have a ton of guys that are up anyways. But the continuity piece of it is something that I feel like I'm coming back to of, like, does it make more sense to, obviously you want to stack talent and bring in more reinforcements, but bringing back some of the same guys so that you can start to bank reps together and build on seasons together, like they had when they were humming in the dynasty days. Like, we were talking about safety Deuce earlier with Jalen Hawkins. He's a free agent. Could you upgrade Jalen Hawkins? Yeah, probably, but Devin McCourty, Patrick Chung, and Deron Harmon played a lot of big games together, a lot of playoff games, a lot of Super Bowls, and they didn't even need to talk to communicate sometimes. Like, it was just second nature to them what adjustments they were going to make and what they were going to do and where everybody was going to be. And, like, is it better to just kind of grow from this together as, all 11 guys versus, we need wholesale changes because Seattle blew us out in the Super Bowl.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm curious how this now is going to color next season and then going into the off season, and what are the stories around this team now, and really, what are the expectations? I think that's the biggest thing to me is you went to the Super Bowl this year. There were no expectations. There are going to be expectations next year. What are they? And what's reasonable to expect from this team?
Perfect time for one of our ridiculous off-season PUs.
Okay. You've got a poll?
Yeah.
Okay. How big's your poll?
It's a little poll. It's a little poll. No, but just piggybacking on what
Ben.
Mike is piggybacking on what Mike was just talking about, the expectations. So, how many win? I mean, like how far? How many wins? What would have to happen next year for you to say that wasn't a disappointing season? Now,
Early forecast.
Totally unrealistic to say. Well, they need to get back to the Super Bowl again at minimum, or it's a disappointment. That's not true. I don't think. I'm speaking for myself.
Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Go ahead.
Usually have a good take on these.
Okay.
Win 10 games.
Win 10 games.
10 games.
Okay.
Make the playoffs.
I was going to say make the playoffs. Like,
Yeah,
even if
win
it's
10
a
games, make
wild
the
card
Win
this
10
time.
games and make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mine is
I think I'm with you on that.
mine is competing for the division up to the last week of the season.
Okay.
Either you have it or it's
Yeah.
going to be decided and you're one of the people.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
I
fair.
think that's all fair. I think we're all
Yeah.
kind of in agreement. I'm wondering, and when you said that, Mike, about the expectations, I'm wondering if some other people might be thinking we're being too easy.
Oh, I heard somebody say if they don't get to the AFC Championship game, it's a big
See, and
disappointment.
and those are the voices that are going to be really frustrating
mean,
this offseason.
But it just that infuriates me.
I-
Just a
I-
level
I
of
could-
ignorance.
I could easily see them win less games, but be a better team and lose earlier in the playoffs.
Yes.
But be a better
Of-
team
of
and feel
course.
like we're better positioned for 2027 than they even are right now.
Let's say Kansas City completely says we're going to spend money, we're going to support Mahomes, and the Chiefs are back, and you lose to them in the divisional round or something.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
you know.
Or, unfortunately, like, they had great injury luck this year.
Yeah.
And Washington
Right.
didn't this year, and they lose their quarterback for, periods of time in the season, and
Yeah.
that can. But injuries aside, I think
Yeah.
making the playoffs. Right now there's a lot of unknown in Buffalo. Like, you don't know
Yeah.
if Joe Brady's a good coach. You don't know who their defensive coordinator and how they're going to run their defense. Personnel wise, they don't have a ton right now.
Right.
So it's hard to kind of sit here, this early on and say what Buffalo is going to be.
Right. They could be back, but I think that we're one of the two best teams in the AFC East.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
No question.
And so
Yeah,
I
the
believe
other
we
two
should be
stink.
competing
Yeah.
for this division. Now,
Yeah.
is that going to be 10 wins because all four teams have a down season? Is it going to require 12 wins to win? I don't know, but I believe that we should be competing for
Yeah.
the
Absolutely.
division.
And I think that's fair. And I think the Buffalo situation is also fair to talk about because of what Evan said, the uncertainty. They could, I mean, I if you would ask me right now, and it's hard sometimes to get in the minds of these national guys, but my guess is if you held their feet to the fire, these, the ESPN talking heads, NFL Network talking heads, they would tell you right now, Buffalo's the favorite in the AFC East.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
because they have Josh Allen.
And the Patriots got, sort of embarrassed
Yeah.
in Super Bowl Sunday. Like if that was a closer game, maybe it wouldn't be that way. But I think people look at it up. Yeah, they kind of were
Right.
what they
Default
thought we
towards
were.
regress to the mean, and that's
Yep.
probably
Yeah.
what will happen. I mean, the schedule's part of it too. It's a beast next year. They're going to play a lot of good teams. I mean, that's what I'm most excited about. That regular season is going to be so fun to watch. I mean, almost every week is going to be against a good team, maybe in a tough location. I mean, you got to go into Seattle next year. You
We
gotta
hope
go into
it'll be
Kansas
fun
City.
to watch.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, but at this point, when you're saying there's not going to be any more of the schedule excuses, and I want Drake to continue to develop. And year 3 is not the
Yeah.
end-all, be-all of his career. So this is going to be a great opportunity for him to see even more of what he saw in the Super Bowl against Seattle, and good defenses and really good teams, and going against quarterbacks where, I mean, he was lucky he was going against Sam Darnold. I mean, a lot of times you're going against Patrick Mahomes or Allen where they're going to score touchdowns, and you're going to have to score touchdowns to keep up with them.
Right.
So I think, next year might not be quite as, glamorous of a finish in getting to the Super Bowl, but it also might be, this is the year where they really became a team that can win big games against really good teams, against really good quarterbacks, which, let's face it, even in the playoffs.
Yeah,
they
I
didn't
want to
face
get
any
to the
good
point.
quarterbacks.
I'll also be disappointed if I don't see improvement in the offense. Now, whether or not that equates to 14 wins again, I don't know. But I want to see a consistent offense that has answers against the better defenses. That doesn't mean they score 30 points, but it'd be really hard to just stifle the Patriots offense.
Yeah.
Because they have answers. They have different weapons in different places that, so I'll be disappointed if the offense doesn't take a step forward, even if it doesn't mean.
Yeah, because the defense is in pretty. They spent a lot of money on defense last year, and you saw, I think, the fruits of it down the stretch when they really played well in the playoffs. But offensively, they could probably use a little bit of that attention that the defense got last year, this year, and maybe pushes them over the top a little bit.
Be more consistent. Moving the ball. I think they got a little bit big play. Where it was, they were the number one explosive play team in the league during the regular season, and once that kind of dried up a little bit against the better defenses in the postseason, they weren't really great at marching the ball down the field. Like, can we go on those 10, 12 play drives where you're just kind of taking bites?
We talked about it a lot on Tuesday. They've got to figure out the offensive line. If they're going to stick with Campbell at tackle, fine. But let's get him in a program right away.
I think on offense they're going to have to be kind of bold. Like, it's just because you're going to have to maybe get rid of guys that you like this year. I think and that's along the offensive line. That's at the receiver position.
Oh yeah.
Even the tight end position. I mean, I think Hunter Henry will be back, but I just think they're going to have some hard decisions to make where they might say, we're going to have to take a half step back at a certain position, maybe wide receiver, maybe right tackle. But in the long run, we feel like, like Diggs is a good example. I mean, Diggs is a really good player. I thought he was great this year. I was super impressed with him. Is he still ascending? Are we going to get back to the playoffs next year and feel like, well, this was a one-off for Diggs. He'll be better next year. He's an older guy, Right. So at what point do you say, Drake, we're going to have to?
Is that money better spent elsewhere? Vrabel mentioned it this week, and we interviewed him for the final episode of Fortune Foxborough this morning, and I don't think I think he basically said the same thing he said earlier. It's like there's going to be changes.
Yeah,
and he's talking about coaches and players because some guys are going to leave for better jobs, and he's not intending to just run it back with the exact same roster. He knows that there's going to be a lot of changes.
Yeah, you can't do that in any sport. I feel like even when you win a title, even you have to, go out and add and get another piece that's different than the year before, change up the chemistry. I just offensively, with the offensive line, I wonder really what the big sticking point to me is left guard and center. Like, how do they feel about Jared Wilson long-term being a center? And one of those guys that Deuce is talking about, Garrett Bradbury, was one of the veterans and one of the guys that was really well-liked in that locker room. But long-term, is it going to make more sense for Jared Wilson to be your starting center and not Garrett Bradbury? And then obviously you have to go out and find a left guard, which I think is probably the quickest fix, is to put like a solid established left guard next to Will Campbell that can help him out a little bit and make his life a little bit easier. So that's a big one, is, you're going to have to probably upset the apple cart a little bit of that offensive line room
that's
to
what
maybe get it better.
Yeah. Who is a guy on the team that isn't one of your, top of your depth chart guys, but you can't get rid of him because he's such a good locker room guy? I'm thinking people are going to probably think this is blasphemy, but Matthew Slater, for example, yes, he was a superb special teamer, but he might have been a better locker room guy. And that's a big reason why you keep him around.
I think Bradbury is the best example of that.
Well, that's why I asked him, because you brought that up.
Yeah, I think him and Morgan Moses. But Moses is a good player.
But I think he's also one of your top depth guys.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of thing.
I think those two guys are a big reason why the culture in the offensive line room changed this year, not just the play on the field, but the attitude and the approach off the field. But Morgan Moses is 35 years old.
What about Hollins?
Yeah, Hollins is another good one.
It's a good example. I mean, I don't love their receiving core. I mean, I'm not like passionate, attached to really anybody in that room, but I do like what he brings. And I think he's a little bit of a model for me of what Drake likes. And, clearly Drake under duress in the Super Bowl, who's he going to the most? He's looking for Matt Collins. So
who's the one guy in the receiver room you say untouchable?
I don't think anybody.
I don't
Really?
I don't have one.
See, I have high hopes for Booty.
Yeah.
I think he's ascending every year. He's gotten better, and I think I'm not saying he's your 1 or 2, but having him as a 3 or 4 would be real.
Yeah, I'm not
think he's
opposed to
fine.
having any of those guys back. I just, if you're asking me
Well,
if
they're all
any of
under
them are
contract.
untouchable,
Yeah.
none of them are untouchable.
Yeah,
that's the
I think
thing.
that's the biggest problem with Booty is like if you go out and trade for AJ Brown, then that's he's going to play in Booty's role. Like he's going to get Booty's snaps. So if you're trying to upgrade the playmakers around Drake May, then Kayshon Boutte is probably the most obvious one that's going to.
So having Booty and AJ Brown on the field at the same time is not good.
It's not good. I just don't. AJ Brown, in my opinion, is a true X. Kayshon Boutte's been playing the X in their offense. I know there's a lot of people that talk about his LSU days and playing a little bit more off the line and in the slot, but
Power slot.
I don't know if he's that guy anymore. At LSU before pre-ankle injury, he's got a different level of explosiveness than what he has now. I'm not saying he can't do it, but he's been playing on the outside for most of his NFL career, and that's kind of where he's been.
And you look at all. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say real quick. My question with Booty is how much is Drake May's ability to throw the ball deep accurate? I mean, he's got great hands, no question. Booty's had great hands since he got here, but is he a product of Drake May? How much percentage of his production is a product of Drake May?
No,
because then you can get somebody who can do more.
I think you're getting a little defense. Like, no one wants to push Booty off the roster. Like, that's not what we're saying. You asked if anybody was untouchable.
Right.
So, like, I like the way Demario Douglas played this year for the most part. He wasn't a huge part of the offense, but when he was called upon, he generally came through and made some plays.
Yeah.
Do you think that he's still that guy, or would you say, like, your guy, Efton Chisholm, is really knocking on the door and wants to replace him? Is Kyle Williams a guy we don't see behind the scenes every day? Is this a guy that they think is really ready to break out and be a huge part of the offense next year? Does he push someone's role, away? Like, that's, Matt Collins, I agree with everything Mike said. He has that catch radius that certainly Drake tends to look at, and he likes throwing to the tall guys and putting the ball out away from the frame, the body frame. Can you get better than that? Like, I think any of those guys I'd be happy to have back, but if they could upgrade any of them, I would say you should do it.
I think they need one new receiver at least. I mean, I think they need one guy in the mix, and they're all coming back.
dog.
So that goes back to being how do you make a tough decision there? I mean, they're all coming back. Who do you go? Who goes? Who do you upgrade?
I just keep fixating on that phrase that he used Tuesday. Younger and cheaper.
Yeah.
We're looking, and that's
the reality of the
everybody
NFL.
has to understand the reality of the NFL is you're always looking to get younger and cheaper.
I don't know. I think the person I have the highest hopes for is Booty.
Yeah.
In that room.
I kind of think this is Booty's peak. Like, I think that's
Really?
who he is, and that's
Okay.
not a bad peak. Like,
No,
it's not.
I think he's a good player.
Yeah. But I think this is sort of. I mean, we're going on year 3 or 4 of his career.
But that first year, I mean, there were extenuating circumstances that might have stunted his growth.
But I think he kind of is.
Not all other people, but himself too, and he admits that.
Yeah, I just wondered, his skill set. Like, I feel like this is kind of pretty close to it. Now, maybe he has a different level that we haven't seen yet. But if you're looking to upgrade at wide receiver, and I'm kind of with Paul, like, I don't need another Kayshon Boutte. I need a dog. Like, I need a top dog in the offense because they have Kayshon Boutte's, they have Matt Collins, they have Kyle Williams as like the young guy that is hopefully going to continue to ascend.
I think that's a big part of it. Kyle Williams, I mean, personally, I don't know if he has that kind of potential. But if I'm wrong and he does, I think that has the potential to do what Evan's talking about, to give you an explosive player who's on the rise. In year 2, you should be still getting better.
Yeah.
I kind of agree about Boutte. I like Boutte. I think he had a really good year.
Boutte's number 2 to Hollins for me. I mean, he's right there, no question.
I think Boutte had a good year, but I think this is what he is. Yeah. Like, even in the second half of the year, he kind of tailed off.
Yeah. I just wonder if, if you're truly interested in some of the top receivers in the market, an AJ Brown, a George Pickens, I doubt will hit free agency, but if he does, something like that, then where are you going to play him? Like, you're going to play him in Kayshon Boutte's spot. And so is Diggs now, back? Is he the number 2 receiver maybe? And, I think that's probably better for him, like where he would fit in better is, kind of what he had in Houston in theory, with Nico Collins kind of being the number one guy and him sort of playing off of Nico Collins. That sort of thing I think is the ideal, but that's not drafting a guy in the 3rd round like Kyle Williams and hoping it works out again. Like you got to go invest in that.
Yeah.
That's a big trade or a big free agent signing or something like that.
See, just one other thing on the other side of the ball. Like I know they have holes on defense. I feel really good about the defense though. Just I have confidence in the coaching staff, in their style of play, in the pieces that they still have. I think they'll figure it out on defense, and I think they're going to be really competitive on defense, no matter how this offseason
If there's a
goes.
choice between a top dog wide receiver free agent or Max Crosby,
I know.
who do you go for?
That's the tough one.
That's a tough one. I mean, I honestly, it might come down to age for me. Like, I think, Max Crosby still being in his 20s, I would probably lean him over, say, a 31, 32-year-old wide receiver dog. I don't know who the names are, but there's a lot of intrigue with Max Crosby. I think he's a game changer.
Yeah, I mean, I think. So are you talking about like A.J. Brown or Max Crosby?
Yeah.
Because I would go Max Crosby every day and twice on Sunday. But if you're telling me I can get a true number one receiver, that is, like, I kind of think A.J. Brown's leveling off.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, right.
Give me Justin Jefferson.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Chase.
Like,
Jamar Chase.
I know that's a
Best receiver.
That's
You're saying it's going to happen.
fully recognizing that's a ridiculous hypothetical.
Just give me
you know?
Jamar Chase. That's,
Yeah, I just can't get out of my head how good of a program fit Max Crosby would be.
Yep.
Like, I think Max Crosby and Mike Vrabel are kindred spirits. I think the way that Max Crosby works, his attitude, his play style, like all of the above is just like effort and finish,
Mr.
guy,
Effort and Finish.
guy that like says his alarm goes off at 4:55 a.m. and he drives to the facility and is there by 6 every morning working, on his craft, working out in the gym. Like that's a program type of guy.
Sounds like me getting here.
And I have
Doing
to
your
imagine-
crossword with
like
your
I think
tattoos.
Mike Vrabel would just absolutely
glasses.
love
Oh,
coaching
yeah.
Max
Oh,
Crosby.
there's no, I mean,
Like,
it's so obvious after this year.
So what do you guys think about, because that continues to be like in the news. Like every day you go on, you click on Twitter and you see something about Max Crosby. Today there was a Florio piece sort of talking about some comments. Now he kind of seems like, these people are talking for me and they really shouldn't be and blah, blah, blah. He knows. But where do you read
I
the
think
tea
he wants
leaves in
out.
this?
I think he wants out.
how
I mean,
many
there'll be a lot of
was he
teams that
played
want
in
him.
like 1 or 2 playoff games
Yeah.
in his time with the Raiders,
Yeah.
and now they
Yeah.
have another new coach.
There'll be
and
other
another
suitors,
quarterback.
Yeah,
though. I don't think it's a slam dunk.
I've heard worse conversations, and then at the end it works out, and the player comes back, and everything's fine. So a lot of this is just negotiating on the part of the Raiders. Just, we're not going to trade him, blah, blah, blah. How many times have we heard teams say that, and then they do? And then how many times have we heard a player say, I hate this place, I'm never coming back, and then they do?
Yeah, with him, I believe it, though. And, I mean, for good reason. It's just been constant dysfunction there. And this place looks appealing because it seems like for the foreseeable future, there's going to be stability here. And that's, and they were in the playoffs. That's the move you need. Goes back to me for the quarterbacks. You're going to face great quarterbacks next year. You need somebody. You need a dude next year. And that is my biggest priority on the defensive side of the ball.
Be a scary defense if you put Max Crosby with the secondary that they've put together.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care who Elijah Ponder, like whoever's on the other side. I mean, I bring back the Raiders defense from last year with Chase on and him.
Yeah. I mean, just Max Crosby with Williams and Barmore pushing the middle of the pocket. Like, where's the quarterback going to go?
Is extending is extending right now Gonzalez urgent? Is that an urgent need to do?
Well, that's up to Gonzalez, but my guess is yes. My guess is he ain't going to be in camp if you don't.
It's going up.
Yeah, I think it's urgent because you don't want to have what happened with Micah Parsons, where like if you drag your feet on it, then it becomes
It's a thing.
Yeah.
All off season.
and it becomes.
I have no knowledge
hostile.
of this. I have not talked to Christian Gonzalez about this. I just want to state that up front, but I just kind of reading the situation. My guess is he wants the money, and I think he'll become. I don't think you'll see him at like OTAs and whatnot and things like that
until
he doesn't get an extension.
Yeah, I mean now, and you're paying him at the high point. I mean, his stock is super high coming off that Super Bowl,
but it
might only get higher next year.
So you go all the way back to training camp, right? When he had the hamstring, and then people started questioning it, right? Mm-hmm. Jeez, it's taking a long time for a hamstring. And what was the sort of the line of thought was he's going to wait until he's fully healthy,
so that he's
playing his best football, down the stretch, and putting good tape out there and then putting himself in a position to maximize.
Yeah.
You know, Sauce and Stingley and those guys, they got like, was it like 4 and 120?
Yeah.
Something like that.
I think he's going to be the
He's going to
highest
get
paid
more than
corner
that.
in
He's going to be
football.
the if
He
he's
might
the
be
next
40.
if he's the next one to sign, he's going to be the highest
Yeah.
paid corner in football.
Yep.
And should be.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
should be. I mean,
And that's how it works. You
Yeah.
know, I'm
Yeah.
not telling you he is the
Right.
best corner, but he's the most recent to sign.
Yeah.
He's
And when he signs,
Right.
he's going to become the
certainly
highest paid.
on
I
the
think.
short list of
Yep.
best corners in the league, and young, athletic.
You know, some guys might like
Yeah.
Surtain, some guys might like Stingley, and whoever, you know. But he's in that conversation, and that's how it works. It's the most recent guy gets the most.
Just gonna have a T-shirt with him jumping through the air, and like, you know, that's what he's gonna wear to the facility every day.
Mike, I'm a little surprised that you don't have that on a T-shirt yet. You've been dropping the ball because that was a great play and a great shot, like great
It
picture.
was, especially watching. I was up in that. We were calling it the all-22 view because I was the third to last row in the stadium. But it was. I mean, I don't mind watching the game from that high because you can see it, and it was like, oh crap! Like you could see JSN busting loose, and then Gonzalez out of nowhere at the last second.
That makeup speed was
And that's what I've said
incredible.
about him before. It's like that's where you see his speed. It's not the like running with the guys.
Growth.
It's when he takes a little bit of a hesitation or like he's able to make up the distance. That's where the speed at cornerback really, you know, especially with him.
Trail
with his
check.
athleticism.
Cross
trail technique.
He's actually bailing
Bail-
on that
bail
play.
technique. But you're going to have to play JSN again next year, and this is how the NFL is, and you've got a superstar in-house. I feel like with their track history recently of extending guys, especially, you know, last year when they extended a lot of their own guys, but it shows that they value their internal guys, whereas, you know, Bill's regime, it felt like they were going to squeeze it as long as they possibly could to avoid paying.
Yeah.
And then,
It'll be interesting,
you know,
Vrabel's philosophy on that when it comes to the elite contracts.
yeah.
I think
know.
that, like, I don't think Vrabel was sold on Gonzalez to start
No.
the year, and I
Oh,
think
yeah.
I still have
I
my questions.
I know.
Yeah.
I think he got sold on him at the end.
He's basically said that.
If you listen to
I didn't
Vrabel,
like that comment after the Baltimore game.
if you listen to him, like recent weeks, compared to what it was around the Baltimore game or before that, the tone changed. Like now
Yeah.
he's saying that this is, you know, I saw a different Christian Gonzalez. I saw,
I
you know,
agree, and I just took it in a different way. But that's what we'll see.
Well, I took it,
hopefully,
I
hopefully
probably-
you guys are right.
I probably took it the same way you did, which is that he didn't think he was playing very well before.
Or very hard.
Yeah, right. And now but now he's saying that he flipped a
And,
switch.
and
he
now
put a
I want to
different
know:
player.
does he want to give $160 million to a guy who plays when he wants?
Right.
That's my fear. And this is a Mike Vrabel thing, not a Paul Perillo thing.
Yeah.
I would pay him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're
yeah.
gonna have to play Drake next year, probably, right? Or is that?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
so,
same thing.
So bang bang.
I mean, assuming he has a regular third year, like he doesn't fall off a cliff or get, God forbid, injured. You know, he's going to be looking at.
So how can you maximize this last year with Drake on his rookie contract? You know,
Well, he'll
that's-
have 2 more years because the
Okay, just
contract
extend him, you
extension
mean. Yeah,
won't
gotcha.
kick in
Yeah.
until
Yeah.
his 5th season. But I think with Gonzalez, like my biggest worry early on in the season was him fitting into a scheme that plays as much split safety zone as they are playing now, and I think he got better and better and better at that. And really got much better at playing off the ball and with his eyes in the backfield versus just always in press and always playing man. And like the Super Bowl is a perfect example of that because, you know, the big pass breakups weren't really in man except I think the last one against Cup might have been. But the first 2 were zone schemes. He's playing off coverage in zone, and he looked like a much improved player in those types of techniques. So that's I think where a lot of this is coming from with Vrabel is the attitude, the play demeanor, obviously, but also just him growing within the system too.
Fred, I don't know if I told you this. Governor Haley's on our TV right now. We, of course, interviewed her on Radio Row. I saw her at the Super Bowl pre-party, and she gave me a hug. And I was like, it was the weirdest hug ever because she, like, I saw her, she recognized me, and, like, it was kind of like this. And I'm, like, looking, like, am I going to get tackled by, like, and I'm like, am I hugging the governor? I'm like, hi. Like, it was,
That's great.
it was super awkward. It was super awkward, but she was having a great time. So it was a little
Mike,
surreal.
you're just looking for security.
I thought I was going to get tackled by the Secret Service. I'm like, is this cool? Is that all right if I give her, hi, Governor, how are
That's good.
you?
So she recognized you?
Yeah. I guess she had a great time on our show.
Awesome.
We did have a good time.
That's good.
That was cool. That was really
That was good. That was a good memory from the Super Bowl, regardless.
Oh,
of the
man.
outcome.
So many memories. I just handed my phone to my wife, and I'm like, here it is. Just go through the pictures. Because it was one of the advice I think Stacy told. Who was I talking to? Was it Alex, maybe? Somebody, just Stacy said, I've been to so many. He's like, take a lot of pictures because it's all gonna be a blur. And so I tried to do that, and no, it was just day after
Fred's
day.
not happy with that.
Everything.
Fred's anti-picture.
I'm with
yeah.
Fred.
No time for cameras. Just
Live
use
in the
your eyes
moment.
instead.
Don't live through your phone. Like when we were at the after party, I'm a big. Can I say that Post Malone performed? I don't know. I'm a big Post Malone fan,
Yeah.
so I was really excited for that. And he actually played a lot of his rap music too, which was great. And it just the phones that were just
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah,
listen,
yeah.
500 phones pointed at the stage, and I was like,
Yeah.
I'm just there, just kind of trying to be
But
happy.
if you're at something cool like the Super Bowl or Italy or whatever, like I'm all for like taking pictures of what you're seeing,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that
yeah.
you have
Yeah.
What I don't like is taking pictures of yourself.
Oh yeah.
At these places, like what's the point?
Yeah.
Fred's extremely
No,
anti-selfie.
I get it.
Yeah.
And I'm not like I just want little clips. I just like get little clips, little pics here and there.
I didn't take a ton, but I do, and I have the scroll. I was showing Mike a lot of shots from past Super Bowls,
Yeah.
just like comparing. Oh, well, this was that party there, and this. You know,
The parties
kind
all
of
blend
stuff.
together. It's like it's like night after night of
I gotta say, these were good ones.
party. They were.
a
Paul
good-
was.
it was a
Paul
good
was.
year.
I just have to tell our crew. If you didn't tell, Paul was having the time of his
yeah,
life.
Paul,
there.
I was
I
the
had a great
happiest.
week.
It's the happiest I've ever seen.
Right up
Paul.
until the game, I did. In all seriousness, it was a great week. The weather, I think it was the weather.
Yeah.
I think the weather really picked me up.
Yeah.
That
Gave me a little rejuvenation.
As soon as Beth got there too, like the beaming
my
was
girl.
that I couldn't believe it. I was like, who is this person?
I think I was in bed by 8:30 every night.
Well, you were fighting it though. You were
I
sick.
was sick
And
early,
and Mike and I just want to give you a extra special thanks for sitting in between us at Radio Row.
didn't
and
get
now,
sick, though.
now both
We
of us are
both got it
dying.
now.
I was in bed at 8:30 too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Evan was like, my son, like everyone was getting ready to go out at like 10
Yeah.
as I was going to bed.
No.
Well, the Super Bowl Sunday was the best weather. That day was amazing. It was like hot that day. I mean, I watched most of the Super Bowl in a T-shirt. Like it was.
I mean, at the
crazy.
pregame tailgate, Mike and I had to get under the tent once in a while because the sun was a little too
Well,
hot.
I was dancing
you
a little
poor
too
guy.
hard.
That's good.
as Mike is hugging more of you.
I'm glad you had a good time.
Well, the radio also, that's
Per
a big,
your instructions.
a big part of my enjoyment of it is as you know, I love this show, and to do basically 2 times, 3 times the amount that we normally do, I thought was great.
Yeah.
The 4 hours a day, I was
Yeah.
like, this is awesome.
No, Matisse did a great job bringing
Yeah,
people
Tease
in
was in
left
his
and right,
element.
and
Oh, you should have seen Tease after the game. Oh.
Tease was in a bad place.
I had a moment.
I'm not
with
sure
Tease
the
in the
Patriots
post-game
players
show.
took the game harder than Matisse did.
How many times have I told you that? You'll be surprised at the post-game party. You'll be the most depressed guy there.
And he was in a dark place.
No,
He really was.
Matisse.
People said that we should have Felger on once a week.
That was
God.
fun. That was fun. I mean, you guys have had that
Yeah.
before, right? Like,
Oh,
but
that was nothing.
oh man.
compared
Well,
to
it was,
that was
what they used to do.
cordial.
it's interesting to just see his energy and and how it's
Yeah.
he's on all the
what did I
time.
say to you? Just don't think you're going to back him into a corner.
Oh, and
because
I never would have wanted. Yeah.
Suddenly you're going to end up.
Felger,
You-
what
you-
about this?
You think you're up like 10-8 in the round, and all of a
And now
sudden
you're
you're on the
down 10.
canvas.
No, it's an art form, but he's
Yeah.
really good at what he does.
I mean, we did 4 hours. We did 16 hours, but
Yeah.
he does 20 hours a week,
Every
and he's been doing it for
single-
16 years.
every single week.
Whatever.
I'm not sure. He's very good at debating.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm going to give him that he knows what he's talking about.
Oh,
all
no,
the
no, that's
time.
not the point.
But he's
If you got into
extremely-
an X's and O's
Yeah.
argument with him, he would let you talk. He would
Yeah.
just because he's not. That's
Yeah.
not what he does.
Yeah, but he's
That's great. I don't care.
He's an
You'd be like,
unbelievable
that's what he would
sports
do.
writer. I mean, even Stephen A. conceded to him on
Yeah.
Radio Row, and there I saw that interview, and there he was like, "You're really good at this."
yeah, but for him to do that every week for 4 hours with just, because we had a lot of guests too. That helped us. There were 4 of
Sure.
us, so it was you could spread it out a little bit. Man, to do that, that takes
Right,
a
and
lot.
we keep moving it around. We change, because and Fred's really good at this, not blowing smoke up your behind, but we don't just do the same exact thing every Super Bowl. Like it's you kind of evolve.
Yeah.
Like we did this and that worked, and okay, how can we make that better? We're going to do this time. We try different things. This is something we never really did before.
Yeah.
Radio Row, 4 hours. A lot of guests,
Yeah.
and I think it was a home run. I
awesome.
would definitely, if when we go back to LA next year, Mike, and we go to more In-N-Out Burger,
Let's go.
I would definitely advocate you know,
How many
doing
times did
something
you go to
similar
In-N-Out
this.
Burger?
Only once.
I only
Yeah,
went
I know
once.
that was a regret of mine.
I only
We
went once.
That was my
I
big, that
went
was my
twice,
big regret
yeah.
coming.
Yeah.
It was a little
coming
hard
back.
to get to once we changed hotels, and I mean we were eating good food every night pretty much. So it was,
Yeah.
you know, I want to go get.
All right, 855
Pinkies
Pats
up.
500 is the hotline. Podcast at Patriots.com. Let's hear what you have to say. We'll start with Danny in Tampa. What's up, Danny?
Hey, what's up, crew? How you guys doing today?
Hey, Danny.
Okay.
Good.
Hey, so I just want to chime in on what you guys just said. The three first things. First, I like the Max Crosby trade, but also the cons of that. He's projected to take on over $30 million in cap, and right now the Patriots sit under 40. So I don't know if I'd want to do that. He also has been known the last couple seasons to have some injuries. He's pushing closer to 30. I don't know if that'll be a good idea. I like Crosby. I think it'd be dynamic to get him, but you have to think about those. The other thing that you guys said about Christian Gonzalez, I like Gonzalez too, but he tends to be like Trent Brown. He likes to turn the switch on, kind of on and off, and play when he wants to play.
That's a tough
And I don't know if I want to back the Brinks.
I am
the
so
Brinks
offended
truck
by
up
that
to it.
comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Trent Brown's good, but
No,
Danny,
he wasn't.
Danny, that's a little strong. That's a little strong.
Trent Brown, when he turned it on, was an average run-of-the-mill tackle. When he turned it on.
you're right. I'll say that.
Like,
Gonzalez,
Christian Gonzalez is one of the best
player.
three corners in football.
He is. I think he's just almost as good as Patrick Surtain. But Gonzalez, you've seen, he was injured his first year, no fault of his own. And then last year he balled out. And then this year he's kind of been up and down. So I don't know if I want to back the Brinks truck up to a guy that I would make him play out this next coming season and see how he does.
And then he'd be
Yeah,
gone.
but what if he holds out?
These are the ones that I
Yeah.
just don't understand. When you
All right, Danny,
when
thanks.
you draft good players and you develop them and they hit, and then you're like, I don't know if I want to bet. Like, the reluctance to spend money on the part of fans. Now, I totally understand it from Robert Kraft's perspective. It's his money.
His money.
But
Yeah.
the fans that don't want to,
Yeah.
like, I'll give you a perfect example. You know who's overpaid on the Patriots right now, in my view? Milton Williams. You have any regrets there?
Nope.
$26 million is a lot for an interior defensive lineman who, is not necessarily going to get you double-digit sacks. I think you could not play any better than Milton Williams did. Yeah, I think he's worth every penny that they gave him.
Yeah.
But, did you have to give him 26? Probably not, but that's what it costs. If you want to beat Carolina on the day of, the tampering period, that's what it took to pry him away.
Yep.
And that's what it's going to take to retain Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Like, if you want good players, you got to pay them.
Yep.
Yeah, it's actually, because I was tough on Gonzalez at times because I hear what Danny is saying, but, he actually allowed a lower completion percentage into his coverage this year than he did last year, which is kind of like, so
And you guys know how I feel about
Yeah.
Gonzalez. I often push back on you guys about that.
Yeah.
But I
As
also have eyes.
You
and
like talent.
I watch the
Yeah.
talent is right.
I think at times his I don't want to question effort, but like his effort was maybe a little
Play
bit
demeanor?
Yeah, just
Thanks,
not.
Mike.
Not
got a relaxed play
especially,
demeanor.
I would say in the run game, like some of the time when he was asked to take on blocks and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But he's one of the best corners in the league by far. I don't think that's debatable. And to the Max Crosby point too, like maybe a little bit too caught up in the cap. Like if they trade for Max Crosby, they'll figure out
Yeah.
the money and how to
Work
move
it
the money
out.
around. And there's one thing that I am definitely on Paul's side of the street on, and that is that the cap is fugazi. Like we are in
The only thing
era
with
of-
Max Crosby, and I don't care about the cap. Yes, you're
Yeah.
right. But I think he does have a $30 million base salary guaranteed.
Yeah.
So he ain't making less than $30 million this year.
Well-
He's not going to take less than that.
I wanted to ask you guys about that.
Next year.
I read an
26.
article yesterday on NFL.com talking about the teams that are, probably in the worst financial shape right now. And I'm not doing this as like a blah. I'm generally just interested in like what your response is because Buffalo was the second worst in the league of their negative cap space. They have 27 free agents, a lot of impact players. And I was like, well, is this when the cap actually does matter? Is
Nope.
this because
Be my answer.
are they? So you
Well,
think they can?
I think it
with negative cap
depends.
space get
Well,
back to where
what
they're
about
at.
cash over cap? Because they've got that new stadium now. I don't know how much the owner's on the hook for that.
That would worry me.
Like how
A
much
lot.
is he out of pocket
Right,
because
right.
of the new stadium?
I think he
Yeah.
paid for half of it.
That would
if
worry
I'm
me.
not mistaken. That's the biggest thing is you can pay your way out of anything. You just have to have the owner that's willing to do it.
Right.
So all the negotiations and all the contract restructures and all that stuff, whether it's adding dummy years or it's it's converting salary to signing bonuses or all the different tricks
But the cash has to be paid.
the money,
And that's what
is
would
gotta
worry
be
me
paid.
because Pagula might look at it and say, this is a big cash outlay for this stadium, and there's only so much.
The Saints have been doing it this way for years.
Right.
Yeah.
And I understand the Saints aren't like a model franchise right now or anything like that, but they're always cap compliant.
Yeah.
They always find a way
Like
to make it
I
cap
read
compliant.
something. ESPN had I think Jeremy Fowler put up all the non-playoff teams in different tiers. And they had their cap situation. And he actually used it as a positive for the Saints that they were only like negative 20 something because they're usually like
Easy to
negative,
dig out of
they're
there?
usually like negative 80 something at this time of year. Now, to Evan's point, they haven't been very good the last couple of years, but there's always ways around it. The Bills,
I just look at
they
the
need
volume. I
talent.
mean, and that's what they don't have, right? Like, I mean, they got James Cook, they got Josh Allen, Ed Oliver-ish, but after that,
so we'll talk the A.J. Brown thing. Like, that's a team that should be really going heavy after A.J. Brown. And you have to hope that he has another couple of good years in him. Because I think he's kind of leveled off a little bit. I'm not saying he's done, because he's not done. You still see he's capable of putting up big games. And what would he be with a better, maybe more sophisticated passing game? Because I don't think they had that last year in Philadelphia. And with Josh Allen, maybe Joe Brady, that continuity there.
I just think that
Who
with,
knows?
with the salary cap stuff, like it's important to remember that it's not a you don't just divide the years by the total value of the contract and that presents you a cap number. I think that's like the way it is in hockey. Like if a player signs in hockey for
Thus, real cap.
right, if the player signs in hockey for $6 million a year, their cap hit is $6 million. Whereas in football, there's accounting that you can do
Workout
to fudge it.
bonuses,
So even
He
if
only
they-
makes $1 million in the first year, and
Right.
then after the third year,
Right.
you cut him, and you don't have to pay the rent like that.
Yeah.
So if they sign,
You don't have to do
if they
that.
trade for Max Crosby, they're sitting right now at about $36 million in cap space. It's not like you're going to trade for Max Crosby and then immediately he's going to
$6
take
million.
up all of
Right,
it,
right.
But it's going to they'll figure out a way, to be creative,
Move other guys
to move the money
around,
around.
do something, give them some kind of
just
option
the thing
bonus.
with me with the
Right.
Bills,
convert to
and this
salary.
is probably to your window close, it's just the volume. There's 27 free agents and a lot of significant players, and so now you're talking about not only rejiggering a bunch of contracts currently on the field, but also having to re-sign a lot of guys who have been core contributors. So to me, it seems like there might be a little bit of a youth movement having to reinvest in the draft and some of their younger players.
Yeah.
I don't know how it all work out. I know that there's creative ways to do it, but
I just don't think it's an overly talented roster. So, I think that 27 is probably a highly deceiving number. There's probably a bunch of Mecole Hardman and Jordan Poyers on there.
Yeah, no,
that,
there are.
really
There are.
aren't
But it's
part of the
also like
equation.
the starting center, the starting guard, the Matt Milano. I mean, there's just
Matt Milano,
significant
another
players.
one.
Significant ones.
The offensive lineman to me would be, because they have a good offensive line. I would want to keep that together.
yeah.
The defense is aging and not very good. So you have the young corners that you'd want to keep, the Christian Benfords and those kinds of guys.
Yeah, Benford's a
But,
good one.
Matt Milano, Terrell, which one is their linebacker? Terrell Dotson? Or is he on
Bernard?
Miami? Terrell Bernard. Terrell Bernard.
He's a rookie contract guy.
Yeah, I don't think he's one of them.
The thing with the Bills is they're paying Allen now. And so when that happens with the Patriots, then it's going to become a little bit tighter.
Yeah.
Especially with the way that quarterback contracts are going these days. And Allen's even kind of at a discount at this point.
But,
Like,
That's
when-
money too, like
when-
Fred's
Yeah.
point. That's cash money.
It is,
that they're paying.
but we saw it with Tom Brady. There's a way to use that top contract as sort of equity, and you use it almost as a home improvement loan. So the player gets more money
Yeah.
when
thought we were gonna say
up
something
front, but you rejigger his contract to give you space for other guys. They did that with Brady at least twice, and everyone's like, "Oh, Brady's taking this big discount." Every time they did that, he got more money up front.
Yeah.
he also took a big discount.
Not that big.
He took
Oh,
less.
he took a
He
big
took less than he could have gotten
Yeah.
on the open market.
Yeah.
But
The
Fred's
what-
right. They would take his salary and convert it to an option bonus, and
Yes.
he would get it all up front, and that would
They
allow
do
him to
that.
spread it out. And
That's
but
true.
Brady
Accounting.
would get the money in his pocket.
This is.
no, you're
It's
right.
Not, it's
If
not
he-
a radio
if-
thing.
if-
If
I-
we're being honest about it, they were giving him money in other ways.
listen,
well,
here-
I'm not-
here's-
yeah, I'm
no,
not
but
going
here's what
there,
I say.
but-
There was only a brief moment in his career where he was the top paid quarterback in the league.
This is the point I was just going to make.
Yeah.
So
he could have been the
insisted-
best the
Right.
top paid player every year if he wanted to.
Right.
Yeah, and it's also with inflation, like these quarterback contracts are ridiculously more money than what we were talking about with Tom Brady. And even though the cap has adjusted, that's still real money that's coming out of the owner's pocket when they have to pay Drake May $65 million a year.
And it's going to be interesting to see how Drake May handles it. That's how Tom Brady did. Like, he didn't have to be the highest paid guy. My guess is whenever Drake May signs his contract, he's going to be in that stratosphere.
Yeah. But with the other two quarterbacks too drafted ahead of him, how does that all fit together? I mean, they're probably staring
signs
each other,
last?
right? Who's who's staring each
Who
other
signs
down?
last will
Yep.
get the most.
Yeah. That's it.
Now, and maybe, one of these veteran guys will make more because these guys will just be 3 years in.
Yeah.
So I don't know all the particular numbers from Mahomes and Allen and those kinds of guys.
And then whatever
but-
they're making, when Mendoza's in his 5th year, he'll make more than that. You know?
I just think it's crazy, like how much of those contracts age so well. Like Mahomes and Allen, I think, are in the 50s.
Yeah.
And like that's now chump change. Like they,
couldn't agree with
like
you
the
more.
Bills and the Chiefs are like super lucky.
Yeah,
I always
that's all
say,
they
everybody
took.
else says, and that's what happens when you have the contract. Like Tua. The problem with Tua is not his contract. It's his ability that left. Like, he's not very good anymore. Like, Evan's so right. Like, no one regrets in Kansas City the money that they're paying Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen.
Could have kept Tyreek.
These kinds of
Joe
guys.
Burrow.
Yeah, like,
Patrick Mahomes is only $45 million a year.
you regret
That's like
it.
what the franchise tag is.
You
now
regret
for a
paying
quarterback.
$50 million to Tua because he's not very good.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He
You
ain't
know,
worth it.
if he was good, and people would just say, "Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good contract."
Let's go to Nick in Sacramento. Hey, Nick. 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 No? Okay, goodbye. I didn't want to talk to you either. Anthony's in Seattle. Hey, Anthony.
Hey, what's up, my people?
Hey,
Hello.
Hey, guys. Hey, what a hell of a season, man. Just so ridiculously fruitful. I tried to call in Tuesday. Couldn't get through. Obviously, everybody had the same thing in mind that I did. Just wanted to express the appreciation of what we just witnessed. I think a lot of people, they look at Patriots fans as like we only celebrate Super Bowl wins because of all the success of the franchise, and they don't realize like we've got the ability, the real fans, the ones who are calling in to PU and listening to PU, and they're actually staying connected to the team year round and can actually look at it through an objective lens, are able to appreciate what we just experienced. And listen, I don't want to hold things up. I said that I called in after the when they sprinted into the late bye, and I said this is the 2025 Patriots is one of my favorite teams. That has not changed. My final goalpost that I moved when I said, you won 14 games, can you just beat the Chargers? I won't ask for anything else. That hasn't changed. House money. I love what they did, and what I would say is, shoot, I lost my train of thought. You know what? I just wanted to express my
Sounds like
appreciation
me.
to you guys, man.
A little bit.
Just a heck of a season, and I'm looking forward to the future.
All right, Anthony.
Thanks,
Thank you
Anthony.
for the call.
Keep fighting the good fight out there. In
Hang in
Seattle.
there.
Don't let them push you around.
you go
On
to
the
that
other hand,
parade
Nick in the Poconos writes in. He says, I've heard on a few occasions that Patriots fans are more intelligent than most fan bases because we're engaged and can reference 20 years of winning. Based on some of the fans that I see online and some who call into the show, I'm beginning to think that many are either stupid or entitled.
Whoa.
Maybe both. Eldred, I enjoy your takes,
Strong
but not
words.
every 6'5" receiver who can run fast in a straight line is going to be a superstar. Christian in L.A., no one cares how much money you make, and the majority of your takes are the dumbest thing I've heard since whatever Stephen A. Smith said last.
Wow.
To the guy who wants to revamp the entire offensive line, please sit down and let the grown-ups talk. Your phone privileges should be taken away for that take. The overreaction to the Super Bowl is ridiculous. This team, in a rebuilding year, went 14-3 and made it to the Super Bowl. No one, besides Taylor Kyles, had them projected above 9 wins. This is a young team with room to grow and a great coaching staff that can build off a very successful season. The team is in good hands. Settle the F down. Thank you guys for all you do and all the crazy fans you put up with every season.
This is one of those times where being a big homer actually helped
right.
Taylor. Because
Yeah.
hey, he said that out of, let's be honest, a little bit of fandom, and then he ended up being right.
He got a new car for it.
Oh, what? Yeah. Did you see that post he had about investing in Bitcoin, and then he bought this like $100,000 Mercedes?
He got hacked.
It was hacked.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I got a DM.
That was real.
I fell for it.
It was DM.
I was looking for the little ad thing in the corner.
It was a DM to me. Like I was like, "What's this DM?" And I look on Twitter and I'm like, "Kyle's." I'm like, "What?" I only said that.
So that wasn't real?
No. I texted our group chat and I was like, Taylor, you taking care of this or what? And he was like, yeah.
I only believed it for a second because he doesn't have a car. So that was why I was like,
wow.
he finally got a car. I get why he's trumpeting it.
Things could be worse if he got hacked.
He got hacked.
Wow.
Especially on his Twitter. That's
good.
his
and
money
I say
maker.
everything about Taylor out of love. He's one of my good friends.
Oh, Taylor's
that's too bad.
Yeah,
Taylor's the best. Even Paul loves Taylor now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was.
Well, I never knew him really.
No, I know. As you got to know him,
so this year I got to know him. I
He's
enjoy
probably
him a
like,
lot.
I wish it was true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But rough
I guess. I mean,
what's Clint is playing
you
this
never
kid?
know, but you didn't strike me as the person who was like a Bitcoin
No,
investor.
no.
But you never know with people. Maybe
No.
like
The only
Ernie
thing-
Adams was a great day trader.
Yeah.
Like made a lot of money day trading.
The only thing that he subscribes to is PFF Ultimate. The rest of it is just noise.
That's tanking.
All right.
Noise
Well,
for him.
sorry, Taylor.
Yeah.
The Mercedes will come someday.
He's good.
All right. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back with more calls and emails here. Patriots Unfiltered.
In the game or betting on the game, you'll need a game plan. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the New England Patriots, provides you with everything you need to build your personal betting game plan so you can get in on all the action while practicing safe bets. Visit DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming to learn more about all the safe betting tools DraftKings has to offer. Hope is here, 800-327-5050 or gamblinghelplinema.org. Must be 21 plus. Play it smart from the start. GameSenseMA.com. Physically present in Massachusetts. See DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like My Plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get My Plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want in your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get My Plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.
The heaviest metal credit card of all time. Wielded at business dinners like a samurai sword. It's a classic corporate power move. But the real power move? Having end-to-end visibility on your most critical shipments. FedEx, the new power move.
If you're gonna play the game, boy, you gotta learn to play it right.
DraftKings is all about responsible gaming. It's more fun when it's for fun. So play responsibly. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction.
Talk a little bit about the season. That that he's proud of us, and we had a good year. We just didn't get it done. Not a fun way for it to end, but we did some good things, and glad we woke the city up a little bit. Sorry we couldn't get it done, but we'll get back to it.
We all know that you guys had an unbelievable season. You got to the biggest game, but you didn't finish the job. And obviously the emotions are still raw about that. But a day later, do you have a little bit of a different perspective on that?
No, I mean, really everything I said after the game is kind of how I feel. I'm proud of the team, proud of the guys. And, we'll let it fuel us. And, it's had 10 weeks to the offseason. So, I'm gonna take some time to relax and breathe a little bit. But I mean, off season is really right around the corner, and get right back to it.
What's it like for you on the big stage having such a great game?
I mean, I wanted to win. I wanted to be a champ. So it's pretty cool.
You know that your contract is going to be talked about in offseason. How's that going to play out for you? Just how are you thinking about that?
I mean, I'm not really trying to get into all of that. I mean, it's kind of more my agents. They'll deal with that and keep me up to speed on it. Coming in today, I just wanted to see the guys, hang out with them a couple of times. I mean, it's the last time this full team, coaching staff, everything that will be in the building. So, focus on that. Just hang out with the guys one more time today, and my agents and Braves and all they'll talk to you all right.
But there's no question you want to be here.
Oh yeah, no doubt. This where I got drafted, and I don't want to be anywhere else.
How much do it's all about winning with you, but do you feel like that was your best team when you made your uniform?
I mean, it's not really for me to decide. I just said it, but I really just wanted to win, wanted to, have that champion, to be able to hold. But, it's great. We're able to get there in 3 years, in my third year, but we'll be back.
Message to the fans, that you meant a lot to you.
Yeah, I appreciate the support. Glad we're able to give the city something to cheer about, and proud to be a Patriot, to put on for this city, and yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Before we get started, I just wanted to say I apologize about the other night not being available to talk. Just had a lot of emotions, obviously going after tough loss, long year. Just a lot of emotions come with that. I just wanted to make sure that I had my head on properly before I said anything. I didn't want to say anything that I didn't need to say, and I know that can happen, especially with myself, whenever there's emotions involved. So just wanted the night to sleep on things. Hopefully y'all can forgive me and we can move past it. But I appreciate y'all. I've enjoyed this year, and look forward to doing it again. So if y'all got questions, shoot.
How tough was it to end the season the way you guys did?
Yeah, I mean, it's not fun. You work hard to be in a moment like that. Whenever you don't play well enough to get it done, it stings. But you learn, and got to get back to work.
Well, what was Mike's message to you guys in this speech?
We built the foundation, but we aren't done remodeling it. And just that we did some great things this year, and there's obviously a lot of area for improvement, and that's up to us to do.
You mentioned the emotions. Just what types of things were going through your head that night and over the past 36 hours?
I mean, the Super Bowl is the biggest game in sports. So whenever you lose that, it's not easy. So yeah, just disappointed.
What do you learn from it?
I mean, I think you learn a lot, just from, not even just this game. From this season, you understand what it takes to get there now. I think that's a big thing, is you got a bunch of young dudes who have seen what it takes and understand how hard it is to get there. So I think that'll be good for us. You just learn that, your best football has to be played when it's needed. And, we didn't do that. And we can't change it now, but we can learn from it.
I know you don't give a bleep about social media, what have you, but there's a lot of people out there. But there's also a lot of current players in the game, tackles and what have you, and future Hall of Famers talking about you, saying, hey, back off a little bit. Let the kid learn. He'll get better and better.
Yeah, I mean, it comes with the job when you don't perform. Obviously, I was picked high, paid a lot, so people expect a certain thing, and I expect more myself. So whenever I don't perform, I don't expect, everyone to be like, it's okay, buddy. I mean, obviously it sucks, but it doesn't suck for anyone more than it sucks for me.
What are some of the messages your teammates have maybe said to you the last couple days to try to pick you up?
I mean, it's, I have a lot of great veterans, but everyone could have done more. I think that's something we all talked to each other about. It was never pointing the finger at any one guy. I think it's just, how can we learn from it? How can we get better and do it again?
Will, aside from cooling off, what's the difference between the guy who was in the locker room after the game and the one now? What perspective have you gained about the game?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna give any sound bites today, but the guy in the locker room is a young man who has a lot of emotions, who probably doesn't care what he says. I'm trying to think the best way to say this. When I get emotional, I tend to have no mind. And that's not the way that I need to approach this thing. And like I said, I know myself. And if I would have spoken after, I would have said something that I didn't need to say. So I slept on it. I watched it. I know what I got to get better at and move on.
When you watched it, what do you need to get better at?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think one performance defines a season. I think I did some good things this year. Obviously, there's room for growth in every aspect of my game. I'm 22 years old. I have a lot of room for growth in every aspect as a player, as a leader, whether that's strength and conditioning, pass protection, run blocking, whatever it might be. I have growth for everywhere. I'm young. I'm learning. I got a great coaching staff around me. I got great veterans around me. So I'm grateful for that, and I'll be ready to go when we get back.
Well, I'd imagine this wasn't fun, but you're the only one who knows the answer of what it was like rewatching that game, assuming that was yesterday. What was that like for you?
Terrible. I mean, we didn't deserve to win the way we played on offense. And our defense played well. I mean, Gonzo played outstanding. Our defense played good enough for us to win the game, and we didn't help them. So, it sucks to go into the offseason and have this much off time with that taste in your mouth. But I think it'll fuel some guys, me included, to learn from it, get better, and get ready to go again.
And now, great moments in history.
Your girl talking about
yeah.
the Jaguars.
What's the update? What's the update, Diana? We should probably take a break so we can hear this breaking news. Her talking about Doug Marone's job.
I like her jumpsuit. She looks good. I don't like anything about her.
Megan O'Brien.
I'm glad we have female representation on this show.
Furthering women in sports for generations to come. I like her jumpsuit.
That's another great moment from
Well, football season may be over, but there's plenty of time to score a style touchdown with Bob's Discount Furniture's President's Day celebration. Yeah, that's coming up. Skip the phony holiday sales and shop Bob's everyday low prices so you can get more of what you love. Power reclining sofas with more storage, stylish dining sets with more Bobopedic comfort, and top-rated mattresses with more years on that precious warranty. All for hundreds less than the competition. Brilliant! So stop in or shop online and get more for less with Bob's Discount Furniture, the official furniture store of the New England Patriots. So, and also a reminder always to get your Aaron's snowblower because you never know when the next storm
Cripes is probably right
coming
now.
around the corner.
Needed it this winter.
Make sure you're ready so you can clear the snow and get back inside to cheer on your New England Patriots. See, this is an outdated read. Aaron's is proud to be the official snowblower of the New England Patriots. Visit Aaron's.com to find your Aaron's. I've heard a lot of people, they call them snow throwers now instead of snow blowers.
Yeah.
Have you heard that?
Is that like
snow
is
throwers?
that more acceptable?
I thought they were different things, but maybe.
Oh, really?
Maybe not. I don't know.
Oh, maybe.
Well,
Maybe when they're talking about that, I thought they were talking about snow blowers.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have one.
We'll have to ask Maserati. He's the expert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about videos and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Excuse me?
But those are, he's not hacked. He does it on purpose.
Oh.
That is wild. So Taylor got hacked, huh?
He did.
That is too bad.
It does seem.
I was like, wow. I was
happy
jealous.
for
I was
him.
like, man, I should have invested in Bitcoin.
I was gonna
Get yourself
You
a
gotta-
$120,000
I hate to say it,
Mercedes.
but as soon as I saw the car, I was like, this can't be
Right.
real.
Like, isn't Bitcoin doing really bad right now? I thought this is.
Well, it
Bitcoin's
depends on
been,
when
like,
you got
going
out.
down. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like people made a lot of money on crypto.
Yeah.
And people lost a lot of money on
Not
crypto.
anymore.
Shocker. I'm
Yeah,
surprised that
it's
it
kind of
crashed.
Ponzi-ish. All right, back to the phones. Nick in Connecticut, we can hear you. I guess we can't. Nick. Nick in Connecticut.
Nick.
Oh, class started.
Was that Nate?
It's Nate. in
Oh,
Connecticut
Nate.
that we
Oh,
can't
maybe
hear.
that's why he didn't answer.
It's like, what?
It's not me. Spees in Fresno. What's up, Spee?
Fred, those were great reads, especially the Bob's one. Good energy.
Good energy.
Well, listen, you got to bring it for your sponsors.
Hell yeah. Also, that MOB jumpsuit thing always gets me. It's pretty hilarious. I love I like the fact that Drake gets all these playoff snaps. You know, the racking up the experience and kind of getting a sense of what it takes to win in the playoffs. But I got that lingering question, and we talked about it during the regular season about the clutch gene thing. And I so badly want to understand how injured he was, like how much that contributed to the lackluster postseason as opposed to just not rising to the occasion, regardless of the offensive line. I mean, I don't think that Drake rose to the occasion. And it was that knock on him coming out of college, why didn't he win more? I just think that this question of whether he has a clutch gene is a primary unknown for the whole team going forward. I don't know if you guys how you guys stand on that now. Are you still uncertain whether he's got it, or are you certain one way or the other? Just wanted to check in on that.
I think it's fair to say it's still unanswered. Incomplete.
I think that he just, to me, looked like a guy that lost a lot of his confidence because he was getting beaten down by good defenses. And one of the things that I've been thinking about, along with what Josh McDaniels was doing in the Super Bowl, is like he in the regular season he was playing with like no fear in terms of like testing downfield windows, moving around the pocket, you know, the skip and rips and all these different.
He was starting to make it look easy.
Yeah, that he was doing, and like even though the windows are probably tighter and closed faster and all that stuff against these better defenses, like he was just ripping throws in the regular season with no fear of turning the ball over or it going sideways or anything like that. And I just felt like he got so careful and so calculated in the postseason that I don't know if that's the way that he's able to play. Like I think he needs to play with a little bit of that gunslinger, reckless abandon. And yeah, that might lead to some turnovers, but probably the fumbles is what ultimately got in his head a little bit. And it just, to me, that it's more that than does he have it, or is he clutch, or like all that kind of like intangible
Or it
stuff.
could be that it was actually easy for him in the regular season, and partly maybe because of who he was playing. And when things got a little tougher, he's not quite ready to deal with that yet. He's not a finished product yet.
Yeah, and I know this is not how you want to live, but like the throw on the in cut to Matt Collins in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl was probably the best throw either quarterback made in the entire game. You know, those types of throws were the types of throws he was going to have to make against that kind of defense. And it took them being down 19-0 in the fourth quarter when the game kind of was
Let
like,
it rip.
right.
But also, what was the other team doing at that point?
Right. Well, that's what I'm. Either way, you know.
Yeah.
But like the point I'm getting at is like he was playing with that kind of confidence and that sort of just bravado that he could fit the ball anywhere into any window at any time. And then as the playoffs kind of progressed, he sort of lost that. And I think that was a big. He looked gun shy.
Yeah.
He did.
And I don't know if it's VR, but to me, he's got all the talent. So that, to me, that's in the bank. If you're a Patriots fan, you can be sure that we have a quarterback who can make all the throws, and he's got the legs. What we not quite sure yet is upstairs. Like, how good is he going to be in those most critical moments? How good is he going to be when the pressure on him is the highest? And I'm talking about, defensive pressure. We don't know that. And it's hard you can't really prepare for that in the off season.
Right.
Like you can talk about it and simulate it a little bit, but it's not the same as being in real games.
Yeah, and he didn't really play a lot of big games in college either. I mean,
yeah,
I think the view is distorted because you saw Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes have, been the most recent quarterbacks to do this, and they kind of came right in the league and took it by storm right out of the gate. Maybe a guy like Jalen Hurts who went to a Super Bowl, didn't win it.
I mean, Justin Herbert still hasn't won a playoff game.
Right.
And people consider him to be one of the more talented quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah, but a choker. That's what that's his mentality.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
what's becoming his thing. Right?
That's his story right now.
Yep.
And he's got to do it. And this is going to be another one of those. No one's going to really pay much attention to him next season until he does it in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Until and unless he does it in the playoffs.
I just wonder, how do you get Drake May to play with the same confidence and the same just the free mentality of the arrogance of I can just make any throw anywhere, anytime that he played in the regular season with.
Right.
Like, how do they get that out of him in the playoffs?
Experience.
It is experience.
Somebody, a caller said that, and that's, seeing him go through these games. And I saw a terrible take from EEI that they would have rather not made it to the Super Bowl, but to be able to have gone to a Super Bowl and understand what that's like and all the pressures and how different it is.
I'm intrigued by this.
Yeah, somebody. I don't even know which one it was. It was one of the.
It's your guy.
The people behind.
Fans say this all the time, though. Like, because it's heartbreaking, to make it all the way to the Super Bowl and lose.
God,
I don't even know who it was.
You.
I know.
I just don't understand.
I know.
People.
I think if it was like an actual take, then that's.
I think it was Fitzy.
I didn't see Fitzy say it. That's possible.
I don't know if it was a take, but I think it was something he was posing.
There was
as
a line
topic
of thought that they would
conversation.
rather have lost earlier in the playoffs than in the Super Bowl. Yeah. That just doesn't. Yeah. It's like another one of my favorite punching bags, and I love him, and I tell him every time when I'm dumping on him. Ben Volen, right? Yeah. His big thing was always like, well, Montana was 4-0 in the Super Bowls, and Brady's got three. Yeah, Brady's better. Brady's record in the Super Bowl is more impressive. 7-3 is better than 4-0. Because what he never ever alludes to is, let's do all the playoff rounds. So you're telling me it's better to lose in the wild card round or the divisional round than the Super Bowl?
Right.
How is that?
Right.
Yeah. They'd rather you lose than be like the silver medalist, which doesn't
makes no sense.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I'd rather not medal than
Right.
come and be the runner-up. It just I never understand that mentality and this whole because it broke our heart. Like, it's not about you.
Broke our hearts.
Like,
no,
my God.
And that's what you hope. I mean, everything we said and Evan said about his performance in the Super Bowl. Study that. Look at that.
Yes.
Look at the contrast between when you were just. I forget what game they were playing. Somebody said he's almost too comfortable back there. Maybe it was the Chargers playoff games. One of the defensive linemen, pass rushers, said he's almost too comfortable. And I go, well, that's a bad thing, But this point, it got to be.
And that's what the sacks pile up and the fumble. Everyone talked about the fumbles. 21 sacks and 7 fumbles.
Yeah,
that's probably at least partially due to him being a little bit too comfortable, and then
I think
then it snowballed. When he started getting hit, I agree with Evan. You could see it.
I just don't think that he had the same, one of the phrases I love with Drake May when he's on is people call him arrogant. Like like he literally thinks that he can fit the ball into any window at any time. And that's the type of way that he has to play.
And outrun any defender.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Because I think he needs to play with that mentality that I'm Superman. And they are great defense, but I'm better. And once the playoffs rolled around and he was getting beaten down by Houston and Denver, and it almost is like the doubt started to creep into his head that maybe I'm not better than these people.
Let me ask you one thing, you guys, about.
Oh, I thought you were Let me ask you
use guys.
No, that wasn't a use. Use guys. He has often made the comment about not wanting to be a check down Charlie.
Yeah.
And I think we all agree that we like that because we like the big playability, but. Does he need to be a little bit more the check down Charlie at times and strike a balance?
Sure.
And it would be nice if they had check downs for him to throw the ball to.
Okay. I didn't mean to trigger you.
I'm just saying.
Relax. All of a sudden, he's just not going to be on Josh's Christmas card list. But the reason I say it is all the talk about sort of big play dependent. And, I think there was a line there in November-ish where the big plays kind of tailed off.
Yeah.
And then in the playoffs, there was very
Booty
few,
throw, yeah.
very few exceptions. They kind of went away. Is that maybe why? Like they're constantly looking for it. Teams know that, and it's a little harder to do it.
Well, I mean, they certainly saw a lot of split safety, and they're going to keep seeing that throughout, I think, his entire career. And they're clouding the field, so they're putting a safety over the top of the three receiver side. Usually they're 3-by-1 traditional dropbacks, and they were doing that all playoffs. And I remember, I want to say it was after the Texans game, he said that they played cloud, which corner underneath, safety over the top, like a little bit more than they were expecting, and they're just not going to give him the deep ball. These defenses are in the playoffs.
There's the answer.
When they go to game plan him, they're going to say that two things that we're going to take away are his legs and the deep ball. Like that. And we're going to turn him into Brady. Like he's going to have to be precise, and he's going to have to pick us apart. And
that's what the opposite was. I feel like with like the 2010, 2011 Patriots, when Rex Ryan started doing all that stuff to take the short stuff away, and they just couldn't get. I mean, then you pass rush
double moss over the top and slam down on Walker.
What
else you got?
We're done. But
Danny Wood had on the drive to nowhere.
Too of Drake that sheltered or innocent is the right word, but it's just grew up in North Carolina, married his girlfriend. It's like this is the first time where he got his ass handed to him by a bunch of dudes. And I think that's
very big on the word dudes.
Dudes,
I mean,
well, the Seattle defense
handed to him a little bit
are
in
dudes.
college too.
Yeah.
But
But
they
this is NFL
played,
dudes.
I want to say it's Oregon in the one of the big bowl games he played in his sophomore season.
Did he play Bo Nix in one of those bowl games?
I want to say it was Oregon, and they got whooped.
Yeah.
But I hear you. It's the first time by grown men.
It's a maturity process too, and that's. I think sometimes we get carried away. Going back to the Brady Mahomes, is that guys come out and do it right away, and you think, oh, they don't do it right away, they're not going to do it. But some guys are young; they need to get their ass handed to them a couple times, and start to toughen up and start to understand how I have to beat these teams. And really, to me, the resilience that you're going to have in these games, because as much as he got killed in that game, I think we all know. If we felt like Tom Brady was out there, we'd be like, oh, man, they're going to make a run. Like, this isn't enough for Seattle. Seattle's got to do more.
Right.
Brady's going to figure it out at some point. You've got to get to that point with Drake May.
And that's probably the best thing that I saw Sunday from Drake May was his
that touchdown. Yeah.
Well, not necessarily because I'm with Fred. I think there was a little bit of game scenario that allowed them to get some offense going, but he easily could have stayed down on one of those hits and said, you know what, this ain't my day. He kept at it. He kept fighting. I do think he showed some signs, and I think Vrabel was on him. There's like a clip, I don't know if you saw, about pick your head up, look at me or something like that. There was some cajoling along the way, but that was the best thing to me that came out of Drake May. Is
I don't care for those mic'd up things.
He kept fighting. And he kept at it, and to answer Spee's original question that started all of this, we don't know yet, but I don't feel like at 23, I'm not overly concerned about anything yet.
He's got all the tools.
Yet.
And I love Vrabel being the coach for this. Like, Vrabel is one of those dudes. Vrabel was that guy, like the Seattle defense, that was torturing Kurt Warner and Jake Delhomme in the Super Bowl. So you hope that, they say it a lot, quarterbacks take on the personality of their head coach. Like, I hope some of that rubs off on Vrabel, because Vrabel is a tough guy, and he knows what it takes to win those games.
You know how much I clutch conversation.
James Pettigrew, the most interesting Patriots fan in the world, has some blame that he wants to
you're looking at me
distribute
accusingly.
Assignment for blame for the Super Bowl loss. Fans, 2.5% me wore the wrong T-shirt, chose the unfiltered tee over a dark blue 47 brand tee. Others may have made this mistake too. 2.5% Christian in LA and 5% all other fans. The PFW crew, 0% Paul and Fred. That's self-explanatory. 5% Mike. We'll talk in person with Mike about this in the jungle. In Belize. 5% Alex. Too much smiling during the week in day of Super Bowl. Not locked in. 10% Evan. Distracting Drake all season with locker room loitering. You're a lingerer, Evan. 20% Tom Brady. 10% she who shall not be named. We all know who I'm talking about. 20% NFL Goodell, probably 7.5% NFL and 12.5% Goodell. And then the team, 5% Vrabel, 5% Drake, 5% Josh, and 5% analytics.
Analytics.
Sounds accurate. I'm looking forward to that.
That's the only one he has issue with.
Well, because they
is
didn't
the
follow any of the
analytic.
analytics, so I don't know what analytic. They punted on 4th and 1. They screwed up the 2-point conversion. What analytics?
Another listener on Listener Crime,
my
Chris in New
analytics, they didn't
Hampshire.
go with.
Chris in New Hampshire says, thank the Lord that these callers are not anywhere near the team. They should be making toast or are digging ditches somewhere. That's more their speed. Someone called in Tuesday wanting to sign 4 starting caliber tackles for camp battles. Yeah, me too. That's totally possible. None of these let's be polite and call them people ever say or who or how. They just want to use magic. Now, what did I hear that we shouldn't extend Gonzalez? I have my criticisms of Wolf, but he's Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Einstein compared to the dolt mouth breathers that chime in. I hate fans more than Paul. Wow.
I'm not sure you do. I want to defend the offensive line guy for Tuesday. I think his suggestion was to provide some competition for Will Campbell. I don't think he said we need to sign 4 tackles. I know the guy's exaggerating for an effect, but I don't think it's a ridiculous mindset to say maybe he needs to be pushed a little bit. I'm not telling you that, right, wrong, or indifferent. Now, the point is the same. It's hard to do that.
Yeah.
Where do you get a guy that's good enough to push, your starter?
I just think, and look, it wasn't just this game. It was a rough playoff run for the offense, and the offensive line shares the responsibility of that blame. But I've seen a lot of, how do the Patriots fix the offensive line this offseason? And that, to me, kind of makes it sound like they need to overhaul the offensive line, when I really think it's probably like a few tweaks, here or there. Maybe sign 1 starter to
get better,
be a left guard, and then you move Wilson to center, and that sort of thing. The other thing I would just say, and this is probably just a me thing, a week ago before the Super Bowl, we're talking, where did they go to dinner, this week? And we're all, pants
Kumbaya.
off for how much better the offensive line has played all year. And then they get their butts kicked in the Super Bowl by a really good Seattle defensive front. And now all 5 of them need to go. And it's just like,
you can do that stuff on your time. I don't get into the Shirley Temple nonsense.
it just, that part of it to me is like, okay, well, a week ago before they played in the Super Bowl, the line was fine.
Always an overreaction.
And
to
now
the
they
Super
got
Bowl.
their butts kicked, and now it's not fine.
Right. It's open season on the Patriots this week. That's how it goes.
All right, Eldred in North Carolina is on the line. Eldred, you've been catching some shrapnel today.
Well, hey, I love throw back, too, because I am a fighter. Either way it goes.
Okay. All right.
So how you doing?
Good.
Hey, Evan, I want to give you an apology, and on an optimist about Tuesday. You're right. Listen to some more people. Look, maybe Josh could have did a little bit more, but maybe not. And I will give you that. But going with Drake, he's our quarterback. He's young. And that was a knock in North Carolina against better defense in a team like when they play Florida State, New Mexico, Oregon, like you said, and also Clemson. So that was the knock, but he was young now. He'll get it, and like I said, we just got to go with it, But as far as anybody else, wide receiver, and I keep throwing up, 31st, we're not going to move up to get Cornell Tate. You're not going to get the guy from Arizona State, but the guy I kept saying, he's in the top 5 in all the lists, and he runs routes. 6'5", and he takes the top off. He's a true X. Even though he played for Tennessee, he's not Thornton, okay? So we'll take that off. That's Chris Barzelli, the second.
Okay.
And we can get him, because he go in the top second, or we can get him at 31st. But knowing Drabel, he's going to get an edge rusher, which would be even better. And I'll let it go at that.
All right.
Thanks,
Eldred.
Yeah, we were picking on Eldred yesterday because the tall, fast wide receiver is his favorite.
But I think it's great that the guy called and said, we don't need Eldred. Not every 6'5" wide receiver who runs fast in a straight line is going to be good. And he comes right away. This
6'5",
run
4'4".
Yeah, Alex, he called in to catch 22 at the same take. And Alex yesterday was like, Evan, this is, this year's Dante Thornton. And I was like, oh, okay. So Eldred's guy. I got it.
Yeah. He mentioned Drake and being young and not winning big games against better teams. One thing that Drake said on Tuesday that I don't know, maybe people are talking about it. I haven't heard, but something that kind of struck me is he was saying how he's looking forward to next year being in the same offense.
Yeah,
I was just about to bring that up because I think to me the next step for him is like the line of scrimmage stuff.
Yeah.
And I think in this game, like I can't tell you because I'm not on the staff, I'm not in the room, but like how much were Seattle's blitzes creeping up on them because he's not seeing it pre-snap and he's not making the right adjustments and he's not checking them in and out of bad plays and like all that different kind of stuff. And that's really, really hard to do as a 23-year-old in the first year in the system. So as he grows in the system, hopefully, he gets better at those different types of things where he can signal, hey, Pop, we're going hot, or we're hot here. And then, all of a sudden Pop's running a slant right behind the blitz and they're beating the blitz, with his arm. That sort of thing I think is sort of the next maturation. That's a lot to ask for a young quarterback.
So it tells you a few things. One, that he fully expects Josh McDaniels to be back, and I think we do too.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Two, that he likes the offense. Like he feels like, I like this offense, and I'm looking forward to being back so I can get better in this offense. So that's a good sign, I think.
Young quarterbacks get sacked a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's too. And it's I just thinking like, even though they went to the Super, like throw the playoff games all of it out. Just he got to play 4 games against great defenses, and at this stage, you just want to keep stacking experience and seeing as much as you can get. So now, to your point, Paul, that Josh can go back and say, "Remember when San Diego, or I still call them San Diego, the Chargers did this?" All that stuff. So it's just, I think it's all the arrows all pointing up, and I'm excited to get back, see what he looks like year 2.
Yeah. I just wonder, like, what is it? Drake May meeting Josh McDaniels' like idea of how to handle things, or can Josh McDaniels kind of make it easier on Drake May? Like I said, I think on Tuesday, like a lot of like my guys, a lot of the West Coast guys, like they don't expect the quarterback to get to the line of scrimmage and be able to make all these adjustments pre-snap. They just kind of snap the ball and they have pre-programmed answers into their play calls for things like blitzes and stuff like that. So there's different ways to do it. And I just I look at Drake May as a guy that plays best when he's free, when like he's not thinking it, he's not overthinking it, and he's just kind of playing. So is there a way to sort of meet in the middle there where, maybe he doesn't have to see every single slot blitz coming, but post-snap when he feels it, he has an answer to it to get them into a better situation.
Tyler in Ludlow wants to do a wellness check. He said, I just wanted to give a shout-out to the PU team for doing such a great job with keeping the fans entertained for 4 days last week. We all appreciate the work you put in. I also wanted to do a wellness check on some of the former callers I used to hear when I first started listening to the show in 2015. If any of these people still listen, please call in again. Melvin in Tennessee, well, he's called.
Sweet kid.
Yeah. Kat in Chicago.
We don't hear from her as much.
No. Mark in the Bay, could do without him.
Yeah.
Nick Baby Love, not sure what he's up to. Lars in Camp Pendleton, thank you for your service.
Correct.
And Ken's in the Navy, and probably be for life. Remember that?
Yeah. And that was
Eric used to love singing that.
I think that was the one that Hardy said, not butchered at all.
Yeah.
When you mess up the words.
Yeah. Let's see. Tony writes in. He says no.
Probably be
in capital letter
there for life. Not butchered at all.
There you go. No, he says. A week ago, we were saying 5 sacks in the playoffs. May can't be expected to play well if this continues. And what happens? 6 sacks in the Super Bowl and numerous pressures, some 12 allowed by Campbell. I hear that number is being disputed.
I heard 6. I heard 8. I heard 14.
Yeah, I heard 14.
So 14 was next gen, and next gen does it by the chip in the pad. So like, how close is his guy and him to the
that's
quarterback?
Not fair.
So
that's you could be fully engaged and be close,
right? So that's how they do it, which is why a lot of people have pushed back on that number. But I think it was probably around 8. I think is probably the right number,
which is still a lot.
Which is still too many.
But it's not 14, which I think sparked a wildfire.
Yeah. I mean, we could go on a whole. I could go for 20 minutes about Will Campbell and his pass sets and how we could fix it. But
Armstead too.
Yeah,
he's looking to work with him. The whole thing though is all apples to apples. Like, I don't care what the number is. Like, if next gen does it different than everybody else, 14 is still ridiculously high compared to everybody else with next gen.
Yeah, sure.
Do you know what I mean? So, I don't know what the number is, but he allowed a lot of pressure.
I tracked it myself.
I heard a lot of people with 8. So you had a number that other people had.
Like 5 clear ones where it was like, this is non-negotiable. This is definitely pressure. Then there's like, the bull rushes. It's hard. Like, he's getting walked back into the quarterback, but like, how much is that really affecting Drake May? On some plays it doesn't, and some plays it does, and so that's all subjective in my opinion. That's kind of beauties in the.
But you don't want to see that, even if it doesn't. You don't want to see a guy being walked back like that.
I thought that that a lot of the O-line community, I think, has really had his back, but also has explained it a lot better than what's being explained by people that. Look, it's a tough position to understand the nuances of, and I think there are fixes to it. And you mentioned Teron Armstead, and Teron Armstead was very aggressive with his pass sets. He used a lot of jump sets and angle sets so that he would get on guys quickly and try to limit or close down the space. When you vertical set, which is the most traditional pass set for tackles, you're actually creating space between you and the rusher, and it's supposed to be so that you can kind of square him up and size him up. But the problem is that he has the length disadvantage. So he's giving guys a runway to gain momentum, and then they're just extending their arms, and then they're pushing him backwards. So, I think that he's going to have to get better at, trying to change up his sets a little bit and kind of keeping guys off balance, because, all these Seattle guys were just bull rushing the crap out of him because they have that extra space to kind of, that runway to kind of, go at him full steam.
Maheen writes in, I was wondering how you guys viewed the mic'd up video of Mike Vrabel after the game meeting the players and saying, let's be pissed together. Yeah. You can also see the emotions he was going through when he was seen alone. I love Mike Vrabel and will forever love him. I love being a Patriots fan because of him. I think this year, because of what we saw, other high-end free agent players would want to play in New England because of him. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. I caught that. Was that ours, or did someone else get that one?
We weren't I think Films was there at the same time as us.
Yeah.
I thought it was phenomenal. Like, I really just thought that I was glad that he was able to, do it. You don't want to do it like just when they win, right? Like, if you're going to do the handshake line and like, greet them coming into the locker room, you got to do it in good and bad weather. Yep. And I thought that was really cool. The shots of him, his reaction shots, I mean, that was unbelievable content. Like, that's really hard to watch.
Speaking of, we're working on the last episode of Forge. It's going to be really good. So even with the loss, I think people are going to really enjoy it. It's coming out. It'll be coming out. Let's just put it that way.
It was really good.
Mitch in Saratoga. First off, Paul, the Patriots kicked the extra point instead of going for 2 because if they converted the extra point, then they would have known what they needed.
Where are we going?
Touché.
Secondly, Evan, I hope you will be consistent with your take on this season being a failure because they didn't win the Super Bowl, just like how the Commanders season was a failure last year. Just wondering if the Patriots have put the 2025 Super Bowl appearance banner up in the stadium.
Good question. That's a great question.
No AFC Championship banners, are there? No.
They did make it one step further than the Commanders. Now they played a worse team in the AFC Championship game.
And they also didn't really forfeit any draft picks to get there, which I think was Evan's impetus in the first place.
Okay. Let's see. We'll go to Boston Cream. What's up, Boston Cream?
Hey, guys. Just calling in to share my appreciations for another wonderful Patriots Unfiltered season. This one was my 14th complete. And as an international listener, I kind of wanted to share my perspective of people who kind of started listening around the time I did. Patriots Unfiltered, or PFW at the time, was such a great resource because we didn't have the local media like a lot of people in New England did to have to listen to. We kind of had to search for things, and being on Patriots.com was easily accessible and very good to fans like us. So I don't have anything more to say. I'm just appreciative for your guys' content and services.
Before you go, Boston Cream, I am going to get something for the winner of the, your weekly contest. So make sure that Matt Morrell has the name and address of the winner.
Okay, right on. There's 4. I think there's 4 winners.
4 winners. Oh, everybody's a winner in yours.
Yeah, well,
Everyone gets a trophy
Yeah.
nowadays.
Okay.
but you know how it
Well,
works.
make sure we have those names and addresses.
Sounds good, guys. Love you.
All right. Thanks, Boston Cream.
Thanks for the
By
shout
the way,
out.
I'm just curious maybe if there's any new listeners who were at the Super Bowl tailgate and were yelled at by Matt Morrell to listen to Patriots Unfiltered, which there were many. He was going through that tailgate. You listen to Patriots Unfiltered? You know, just
You
screaming
should.
at everybody.
You don't?
So
You
we'd
should.
love to hear. We also met a fan. Made a fan of the show.
I'm so glad
Couple
you guys
fans
are
of the
working
show,
hard
actually.
in that tent. You know, Fred-
Someone had to do it.
We,
Evan.
Fred and
we
I
weren't
are,
working at
you
all,
know,
actually.
actually
That's the whole
doing
point.
what we get paid to do.
We're
to be
spreading
there.
awareness.
Yeah, we were still working. You know.
Yeah,
trying to
actually,
get
I don't know.
listeners.
I don't know. Maybe Fred didn't hear this one, but we were on Alcatraz Island, and this guy felt. Paul and I talked about this. You get somebody kind of like eyeing you a little bit, and you're like, I think this guy might be a fan.
He just thought you were hot.
So we got recognized, and I'm talking to a really nice guy. I think his name was Liam
Yeah.
from the UK.
Yeah, they were very nice.
He was very nice. He met me first, and I was like, hey. You want something really exciting? Here comes Evan.
It's going to break it down for you.
But we talked to them for a while, and it's just it's always so cool to run into random people who listen to the show. So if you were harassed by Matt Morrell at the Super Bowl tailgate, please call in. And
so how old would you say that woman was that said she was a
woman?
fan?
She barely a woman. She seemed like 22, 21.
Yeah, I just
oh boy,
I'd say we don't get a lot of young women that are listening to Patriots Unfiltered. So my antenna was immediately up. Like I felt like I was being set up somehow.
Right.
But then she's like, Paul, tell me why we're going to win this
Come
game.
over here. You're my
And I'm
favorite.
I still would find it hard to believe that she's a PU listener. I told her I need you to write in and call in.
Yeah.
I need proof, but hopefully
Alex talked to her for a while.
Hopefully
so
we'll hear from her.
Darius writes in, he says, I don't think it's about Drake's confidence as much as it is about getting better receiving options. He needs people to get at least a little open so he can make tight window throws and show his skill and confidence. Also, more experience so he has more options. I look at Stafford and how his mind works against good defenses, and I think May just needs more time. Furthermore, I'm really excited about the future and so ready to see the moves we make this offseason.
Yeah, I mean,
there's some truth to that.
I mean, I don't know. He was the number 1 passer in the league and in pretty much every metric during
Yeah.
the regular season, and he wasn't in the playoffs. So
Carried over against the best teams
the
and the
same
most
receivers,
complicated
the same,
defense. You know,
There were some open guys that he missed. And I would just say, in terms of tight windows, that's what it is.
Right.
That's what it
the
is in the
NFL.
postseason.
Yeah.
That's, Evan talked about this at length after the NFC Championship game. He wanted to be really excited about how Seattle's defense had some holes in it. Then you watch it, and you're like, oh, that's how they made the plays.
Right.
Like, those are hard to replicate.
It was all the dig route to Matt Collins, and Matthew Stafford just did it like 4 or 5 times. And, Puka Nacua made the catches, and he's a better player than Matt Collins, and that's a fair point by the emailer.
Yeah.
But, I just think that it can be both. They need to get better help around him, and we can say that, but we can also admit that in the playoffs, he didn't look as sure of himself as he did in the regular season for whatever reason.
Randy's in Providence. What's up, Randy?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey.
So yeah, I was calling in like last offseason. There was a lot of roster movement, right, and a lot of tear down, a lot of replacement, etc. I just kind of think some of that's probably not done, particularly in the front 7 of that defense. I wonder what you guys are going to think is going to happen this offseason with guys that everybody kind of thought doesn't really fit the scheme, Jennings, Tavai. And I wonder, I've been looking at Barmore as a potential trade candidate. I don't think he fits in culturally for various reasons. And I think that he's built up some value this past year. I wonder what you guys think of, A, if he could be a trade candidate, and B, what sort of value they might get from him. And then from the rookies in their first complete offseason, beyond Will Campbell, I think there's 2 guys that I'd really like to see make leaps, and I'm wondering what you guys think. Jared Wilson and his ability to snap the ball. Like, I know he's moved off the center last summer because he struggled with that. And then Travion Henderson with his pass protection coming into the league. That was one of the highlights in the draft community, thought to be like a real benefit for him. And it didn't prove to be that way. I'm thinking in the offseason, hopefully he can pick some things up. What do you guys think?
I like the Henderson
There's
one.
a lot there.
I like the Henderson one a lot, but yeah, let's take them all down. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I think the Jared Wilson snapping thing, I think it was more they had a solid center in Bradbury on the roster, and his cleanest path to playing was to play at left guard. And when they drafted him, I think I think Elliot Wolf said that we view him as a center. So I think that center is his long-term position. I think it'd be hard to trade Barmore. Expensive player, that's a big contract. If you're trading him for the reasons the caller laid out, like,
yeah,
why is the team taking on that contract?
It's funny that I don't know if maybe I hope our mics weren't hot during the break because we were talking about that during the break. Like, I wonder if, let's go back to Max Crosby. Could you include a guy like that? Because I think I saw one report that they were looking for draft picks and an established younger player. I think Barmore would fit into that category, but Evan's right. He's an expensive younger player, but a very talented one. And might that lessen the draft compensation you'd have to give?
Yeah, it's a possibility.
Amount,
Yeah, I just look at if there are concerns about Barmore, like let's just call them non-football concerns about Barmore, then why is somebody taking on $100 million contract?
Yeah.
Right. Like that just doesn't really
perfect Raider
add up. Jennings, I think it was another one of those guys that kind of played his way into Mike Vrabel's good graces.
I would say Jennings, Stevenson would be the top of that list for me, and maybe Owenu too.
Yeah.
Tavai. Tavai had a role, and I think coming off of IR, but
not much.
Oh, Gonzo too.
Jennings in the playoffs, I think, was a really impactful player for them and played really well and found a way to operate within this system. That might not be a great fit for him. So I don't know if they still feel the same way about some of those guys that Randy brought up.
Rhinos in North Carolina. Hey, Rhino.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Hey.
So there's been a lot of discussion, obviously, on Will Campbell online, on this show, with different callers. I'm going to pick up on something that you guys were talking about as well, is that I was more concerned with Jared Wilson down the stretch with his play at left guard. Thought he really struggled in the run game. Thought he struggled in pass protection on different downs, especially in helping Campbell. And I just think it makes more sense to try to kick him down to center and continue to develop Campbell as a tackle and try to find veteran help at guard rather than some of these callers trying to bring in a number of tackles to compete with Campbell.
Yeah. Why not both?
You guys.
Yeah, no, I agree. I talked about Jared Wilson a little on Tuesday, and I think, he's kind of he struggled. There's no doubt about it. I think he struggled since he got back from that second concussion. And no one's really talking about him like they are talking about Campbell, but I don't think that means Campbell was better than what we're saying. I think Campbell struggled too.
No. I just wonder with Wilson, like I keep coming back to the center thing, and on top of that, like separating the two of them so that they're not playing next to each other.
Yeah, and he agrees with you.
Because I just feel like
veteran guard.
On top of the fact that they're younger, they're also smaller. So like your whole left side is just kind of undersized.
Yeah.
Because Jared Wilson's built more like a center, Campbell's built more like a guard. So like you just have kind of a small surface that you're building on that side of the line. So even if it's just so that you get a bigger guard that's a little bit more of a people mover to put next to Campbell, so on double teams and things like that they can move the line a little bit better. I think that would help out a lot too, because I think Jared Wilson is built like a center. He's not necessarily built like a guard.
I like it. I mean, I think your point of bringing in the left guard that's established and still let Wilson compete for that, but let Wilson complete both spots.
Yeah.
And when use the questions.
I said that yesterday. Tuesday. No one's.
No, Evan said he wanted like Joe Tooney would be the answer. They should have done it last year.
Right.
But
David Edwards,
protector of the year,
free agent.
The whole offensive line downfall of the Patriots started when they franchised Joe Tooney instead of extending him.
Yeah,
that's how it hasn't been right since then.
Yeah.
Well, Deuce was doing, not this is going backwards, but he did the 1985 thing. And who was the left tackle on that team again?
Brian Holloway.
Yeah, Brian
Holloway, who we met at Radio Row, and John Hanna would play next to him on the line. John Hanna retired, and Brian Holloway, no offense,
went from an all-pro.
Yeah, career kind of fizzled. And I think that just kind of speaks to, now no one's John Hannah, but it speaks to if you have a really good player playing next to you, how much easier it can make your job, and it's a really difficult
And conversely, if you have a guy making mistakes, it can make you look really bad.
Yeah, but when you have, a young player protecting Drake May's blindside in the Super Bowl against one of the best pass rushes in football, like any little advantage or any little help that you can give him is going to go a long way.
All right. I got a feeling this is going to be explosive.
Oh, nice.
Saba is in North Carolina. What's up?
Hey there, gentlemen. I hate that I missed you guys Tuesday, but I was, I'm not a long-time listener, but I am now.
That's okay. Well, welcome.
Glad to have you.
Yeah.
Rookie of the year.
Thank you. Okay, I got some things. I'm upset. Okay, first of all, why did the coaches and everybody keep telling Drake, don't turn the ball over, don't turn the ball over? You decrease his aggressiveness. He's a mover and a shaker. He likes to play free like Steph Curry. You can't tell him, don't turn the ball over. He does crazy things, and then he does amazing things. This is what you have to do with players like this. He is not Dan Fouts, guys. And Josh Daniel treated him as such. He kept him in the pocket. I said, go right, do read option, move the pocket, organize scrambles, anything you can do to decrease pass rush. How about those little quick wide receiver screens? You get it, you throw it to the right, boom. And that way the left side of the line can be sort of camouflaged somewhat. But this was literally a beatdown, and I blame Josh McDaniel. And why did Drake throw to 18? I'm telling you, I bet that was his choice route. He made the wrong choice again because it looked like he wanted him to sit, but yet the guy kept going. I'm so upset at what y'all did, the team did to Drake May. And my Redskins, they're talking about how horrible Drake May is and how we're so lucky to have Jaden Daniels. I can't take it. It's really upsetting me. And I don't understand why the Patriots did not protect Drake May more and let him be himself. I'm worried that he may be irreversibly damaged, and you got to do something with the left.
All right.
I wasn't going to go there,
Well,
but
listen,
I agree with a lot of what she said.
I want you to become a full-fledged Patriots fan, not a part-time Patriots fan. How do we do that?
I will. I just got to get on your schedule. I got to make sure I put a little YouTube thing.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Guys,
Thank you.
Love you.
I do agree with their first point, not the last point about him being broken for good, but I do agree that maybe they got into his head a little bit too much about the turnovers, and the freeness or like kind of the looseness that he was playing with sort of went by the wayside. The Kyle Williams, the pick, I actually think Kyle Williams was the one that read it correctly on that one. So just to, to give him credit for that.
On Tuesday that had he kept going, he probably would have gotten picked anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, had he sat down.
So they rotated late into like single high safety, and Kyle Williams was trying to cut across the
There was,
face of the
a lot of blue shirts there.
Yeah, and I think that Drake May read it as too high and thought that Kyle Williams was going to split the safety, so he threw it right through the middle of the field. And that Kyle Williams read it as post and was going to go across the field. And I think Kyle Williams was actually right.
Noah in Toronto, of the following three players, who would you least be surprised about if they were not on the team next year? Diggs, Hunter Henry, or Christian Barmore?
Least
Diggs for me.
Diggs.
I personally feel like it might be time to move on for all three of them. They'd save $17 million by cutting Diggs, and he was not very productive down the stretch. Plus, he's not the easiest guy to root for. Hunter Henry is super easy to root for, but they'd save $9 million by cutting him and could replace him with a younger tight end like Isaiah Likely. And Barmore's mic'd up comments, it wasn't us, really bothered me, and he's not a Vrabel guy. I wonder if he could be traded for a mid-round pick and replaced with a veteran like John Franklin Myers.
What was the
guy
it
from
wasn't
Carolina?
Us? What was the it wasn't us?
The stupid mic'd up thing.
Well, I mean, like we didn't perform like us.
Or it wasn't the defense.
I think it was implied.
He's saying that?
It wasn't the defense's fault.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
Well, I don't like
honestly.
I don't like any of what NFL films put out, so that's just.
I'm not interested in saving money. I'm interested in getting better players. If you can replace these guys with better players, I'm all for it.
All right, Nick in Connecticut's giving it another try. We'll wrap up with him. Nick, we can hear you.
That's Nate.
That's Nate.
So you guys touched on this a little bit at the end of the show, and it made me change my take after listening to Evan talk on it. So you guys were talking about Drake May holding the ball, which I thought was honestly a huge issue. But the more I thought about it, I don't know if it's him holding the ball as much of not having a feel for the game or the moment. So Paul and I had a similar take, I think, in the Atlanta game where the only way they could have lost that game is a fumble, and he took a huge fumble at halftime, I think it was. At the end of the game, he had another one that Campbell recovered. And I just feel like throughout the playoffs and stuff, it was just, you're getting the pass rush. Sometimes you got to just get the ball out and not be Superman and make like the crazy, amazing play made in Buffalo, which I know that's part of what makes him great, and he's 23 and all that stuff. But for me, it's like you watch a guy like Josh Allen who at moments shows that like he has a feel for what's going on, but also you look at Denver. He lost the Denver game because he tried doing too much. And I just feel like there's times where like there's a play in the Super Bowl where he drops back. It's 2nd and 10. They're about to cross midfield, and he has Hunter Henry for a 5-yard layup. Everyone else is going deep, and he steps up in the pocket, takes a sack. So you go from what would be 3rd and 5, like maybe more or less, and then now it's 3rd and 14, which is so different.
Yeah, there's a lot of that happened Sunday and in all season, and that's why I kind of push back on the constant harping on the turnovers, because turnovers were an enormous problem in his rookie year, and they were mitigated this year. He didn't have anywhere near the amount of turnover-worthy plays. I mean, for the amount of big plays that he made, that's remarkable that he was able to cut back on the mistakes while making more explosive plays. That is something that clearly that they drilled into him. It worked, but it's still a work in progress. Nick is right. There's a lot of things that, in that holding the ball thing is kind of a constant that I can trace as far back as the preseason in the game against Washington, I think, all the way through to the Super Bowl. And it was a periodic problem throughout the year. That's what comes with making all those big plays.
I would just say that, like, be careful about evaluating like when to go to the check down. Like, he's going through a read, and the check down is like, we're going to look downfield first, and then we're going to hit the check down. So like, wouldn't expect him to like get to the top of his drop and immediately be looking down to the check down. Like that isn't really, he's waiting to see if anything develops down the field. Now, could he get from, his
high
reads down? Yeah. Could he get there faster? Yeah, probably. But, I see in a lot of like screenshots and things like that of like,
love the screenshots.
He hits the top of his drop and we're looking at it and like there's a check down. It was like, like obviously he could take the check down at the top of his drop every single time, but he's looking to see if something develops down the field first. So, I thought there were opportunities to take check downs in this game, maybe, but I didn't really think that was the design of the play. Like, I think they were trying to hit throws down the field. And that was the biggest gripe I probably had with McDaniels in this game, is it was too vertical. Like they couldn't hold up front, and they got guys that aren't even ready to catch the ball, that aren't turning around looking for the ball yet. And Drake May's hitting the top of his drop, and he's just holding it.
Slants and in cuts.
Yeah.
That's what you need. Travis in West Virginia. Can each of you say, please? Oh, sorry. Can each of you please say, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much locker room guys actually matter? My answer is 0.
Oh, I think that's.
I think Paul would agree.
No, I would not.
Oh, you would not agree.
This team made it here because they had fantastic vibes all year long. I mean, this wasn't because they had the best talent in the AFC. This was a special kind of thing. Like I've never been around anything like what we saw this year in terms of like that sort of thing actually elevating the talent on the roster. Like, if you understand what I'm saying.
The whole was greater than the sum of the parts.
Yeah.
I just think you need at least a core. You need at least a core of guys that have your culture. And in the first year of a program, it's hard to have that.
See, now, where I think you would probably be going with this, Fred, with me is, so like, take a guy like Harold Landry. I think Harold Landry was brought here for one reason, and it's exactly what Mike and Evan just said. And he did that. He got hurt. He wasn't as productive in the second half of the season. I would hesitate to say I need to keep him because he's so good in my locker room. Yeah. He did his job. That's exactly what they signed him for.
If now we've established the culture.
Right. Now, but so he would need to be a better player than he was. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't just keep him solely for that.
Right.
If he can't play anymore, then it's time to move on. If they think this was about the injury and he's going to be more productive, by all means, you hold on to him. But I think those guys are important. I agree with the way Evan said it.
I go back to Parcells, Hall of Fame coach. You got to have your circle the wagon guys. Yeah. And Belichick did the same thing when he was here. He brought in Anthony Pleasant and
Bobby Hamilton, Rick
Bobby
Lyle.
Hamilton. Yeah, all these guys that he was familiar with, that he knows will take his message to the rest of the team and help to make locker room self-policing.
And that's what they had. A bunch of guys that had some ties to Vrabel and some, Landry, Spillane, these guys that had been around some of these coaches in the past.
Yeah, and obviously winning it, when you're winning, it's going to be a fun environment. But hearing guys, talk about how much they look forward to going into the facility and it just, when we got to be in there, Deuce, in the locker room, like that locker room was it was fun. Like it was a fun environment to be around.
There was no dividers. It was every position group was talking or joking with the other ones.
And Belichick had the good fortune of having his best player be the guy who set the tone by example in Brady. Can Vrabel turn a Gonzalez into his guy? Because that would be all the more reason to sign him, that that he's carrying my water. He's going to carry my message to the rest of the team. When your best players can do it, not just the Matthew Slaters, no disrespect intended, but when your best elite players are your locker room guys, that's when it clicks. That's when it clicks.
That'll be the interesting question, because Gonza doesn't say much, so I don't know if he's going to be the guy that's...
Brady didn't either in the locker room, but he led by example. Once he was on the practice field, my God, if you weren't doing what you're supposed, he was all over you. Gonzo can do it in a different way, but as long as he's buying in.
Yeah.
As long as he's buying in.
Yeah, I think Drake May, Will Campbell, Christian Gonzalez, they kind
Milton Williams.
They're taking. I think Milton Williams right now is probably one of the vocal leaders in there.
That's right.
Those three guys to me are kind of realize that they're the future and they're going to be the core of this team, and I think they take a lot of pride in that.
Yeah, and I think Ramondre, because of his slow start, wasn't really a out front leader, but I think starting next year he might be. Yeah, we'll see. All right, that's going to be it for this week's Patriots Unfiltered. We will be back next week on Tuesday, so we will see you next Tuesday.
Hey, this is Deuce. Thanks for tuning into the show. If you really want to help us, make sure you like us wherever you get your podcasts, like Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, make sure you follow us on the New England Patriots YouTube channel to see this show and everything else that we do here at the Patriots. Thanks a lot.